Hey guys, welcome back to the Rockford Ordnance and tonight's version of Coffee and Kalashnikovs. Uh, for once, we actually have our coffee here, OD Green mug. Got to have the OD Green repped somewhere here, right? Who do we have in here? We got some really good stuff for tonight. A lot of good gun talk. We're going to go over a whole bunch of stuff. I got some ideas for you. We're going to go over a few things about our favorite platform, the AK, of course. And we're going to go over some EDC carry guns, talk about favorite pistol platforms, bunch of stuff. But got a bunch of news, and part of it has to do with a very popular member of the AK community and what's going on with him. And we're going to talk a whole bunch about that because it's awesome. And then just some other 2A news and things going on, and have a good time. So settle in and hang out, get yourself something to drink. This is like sitting in your buddy's basement, just talking guns. The only thing that kind of sucks about it is we can't show them, can't hold them, can't show them. I could put them in the background back here, I guess, but what fun would that be? But we can do everything but, I guess, right? So it sure beats watching whatever's on TV tonight or the news. That being said, let's see who's in here early. We got Joe Mercado made it in first, and Joe Morgan second. So we got the battle of the Joes going on, but Joe's is usually in here. Joe Morgan's usually in here first. He's got a cool channel, guys. Go over and check him out. He does his Eat My Shorts little videos. I like them. They're hilarious. Perspective on life. You got to dig it. Ross 77 is here. Good to see you, man. Glad to have you in here. Hope your winter is going well. We see Ross when we go to the 2A EDU shoot. If you guys haven't been over to the 2A EDU channel, fabulous channel, growing like crazy. He does live streams on Friday nights, and they're really, really good. He does a ton of stuff for the 2A community, and we go to a shoot every year. Boy, we've had a great time every year. The one year, another YouTube personality was there, and we got to shoot a World War II BAR on full auto, and we got to shoot a German Schmeiser on full auto. If you haven't checked out our video on that, go check it out. It's the 2A EDU get together shoot. We've had a blast. So we see Ross at that shoot every year, but hopefully we get together some more. If I ever get, we'll have a big shoot here. I can't wait. We're going to talk about how the homestead project's coming too. We've done some little bit of shooting out here and met some neighbors who are big time into shooting. So we're going to be doing some long distance shooting. I'm talking 800 yards, 1,000 yards. Between my property and the one neighbor's property, I think we can stretch it out even further. Not that I can hit anything at 1,000 yards. I don't know. Maybe I can. Never had the chance to go much over 500, I guess. And usually the longest I go is like 200. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. If you guys didn't see the thumbnail for the podcast here, for the live stream, go check it out. God, I pulled that picture up from a different one of our other streams and reused it. It's a picture of our Romanian RPA paratrooper with the wire folding stock and the bipod and everything that Two Rivers Arms built for us. Just a gorgeous gun. So much fun to shoot. Like many right now, we're broadcasting from our mobile studio, our mobile command center here, our motorhome that I'm living in while our new homestead's being built. So some are my collection's spread out, let's just say, and some are a little harder to get to than others, but we're planning our new reloading room and our gun vault, which is truly, truly, truly now a vault, cement and a vault door. Deciding whether I'm going to hide the vault door or not. So do like a secret door in front of it or wall in front of it. So we'll bring you some of that. A lot of cool stuff going on. I had the foundation poured where there's cement on all sides, and really, really cool. I kind of want to be careful about that and showing it and everything, so we may just show it when it's finished, but we'll see. But a lot of cool stuff. I actually, as part of, we'll get through the homestead here real quick and then get to guns, guys. I don't want you to go away thinking we're not going to talk about guns, because we are, and specifically AKs first. But the homestead project, we actually have what looks like a house now. The entire outside is up. The walls are framed in. The roof's on. I think they finished sheeting it today. I got home after dark, so I didn't see, but I'm pretty sure it's all completely enclosed. Windows are coming, and interior walls are up. Next is plumbing, roofing next week, and plumbing, roughing the plumbing, and then the HVAC guys. So we're moving right along. We might be in by June. So we will see. But yeah, looks like a real house, and it's cool. I'm liking it. Some things, it's hard to tell when things are just studs and you don't have drywall, and some things look smaller than you thought, other things look bigger. Either way you cut it, it's a really good size house, and I think we're going to be very happy in it. So we got that going on. Bought a tractor so I can grade my road. Not a new one, can't afford a new one. Bought an old beater Korean tractor. If any of you guys have property, or maybe got a range and you got some kind of tractor or something to take care of gravel roads, we got to put in a big gravel road. I got a TYM tractor, made in Korea. Everything I've read about them is great. This thing is a 07 or 08. It lived most of its life outside, so it's faded. I got a pink tractor. I call it my breast cancer tractor. And it's got a loader, and I got a box blade and all. So we've been taking care of the roads, and then we got hit dead on by a big storm the other night. There was some rotation, but no tornado, thank God, because I could imagine the frame of my house coming down. But our road got washed out about 2 feet deep. I got a lake 80 feet long again after it was all dried out. Got to get a culvert in there and get that done. Graded an area for the range, and we've been doing some shooting, testing the new Zastava underfolder. We got a bunch more rounds through there, and I've been shooting the AR I would grab if I was grabbing one AR, and that is a gun we put together. It's Aero Precision, namely it's an M4E. What is it now? E1 or E2? M4E1, I guess. Receiver, upper and lower, which if you watch the channel, watch my videos, I use those almost exclusively. They have a few different features, a flared magwell, a little bit more angular, and they were the first ones to come out with set screws as opposed to roll pins. And amongst God knows how many 10 different ones, I've never lost a roll pin yet. So those that say, oh, you got to have the roll pins, nah, not so much. But this one is a special M4E1. It's the Thunder Ranch version. Really, the only difference is there's a big cutout in the magwell on both sides, so you can get up and get the jams out of there if you ever get a double feed. The feed of death, you can clear it out real easy. And it's a 14.5-inch barrel pinned and welded. So a lot of guys think, well, it ain't worth all that hassle for 1.5 inches. I'm telling you, it is. It makes the gun feel totally different. It's just I put everything on it I want that makes it perfect for me. We've got a loft holder on it. Just a nice gun. So EOTech all the way, with they're not their regular 3x magnifier. They're whatever it is, 4 or 5x magnifier right here. Here's the OPTIC. We can show optics. So here's the magnifier. Took it off goofing around the other night because it'll flip to the side like so. You just flip it over. It's got a quick detach on it. And then if you need it, you flip it over and you've got basically not a variable optic scope, but a scope. And you can reach out with it and it's nice and clear. I like it, but it does add a lot of weight. This thing's probably a pound all in all. And it makes you kind of think, should I just put a variable optic scope on there or should I stay with the EOTech in this? Well, the EOTech in itself, for up close and personal and even, ranging out a ways, is a great optic. And it's way quicker and you don't have to worry about the eye relief like you do on variable optic scope. So at the end of the day, it's faster. And if you need it, you can plop this over. Is this as accurate at longer distances? Probably not. But I think all in all, it makes for, a faster, better gun at ranges you are most likely going to encounter, whether that's in a room or out to, say, 150 or so. It's much faster. So that's why we went with that. And I like that setup on an AK too, for that matter. I've got some variable optics on those that I enjoy on my Krebs, which is my go-to rifle. But I've never run that on it. Maybe we should try it out and see what we think and go from there. But let's see who else is in here. So Joe made it in first. Sorry, guys, I didn't get my smoking in when I got home from work tonight. Joe, I've had the worst day in my life. I turned 35 today. Happy birthday, dude. 35. You know what I would give to be 35 again? 35 is like, oh man, just about the best time of your life. 35 to 40, maybe even 45. Because at 35, you really start hitting stride and things with most of your life, maybe career, this, that, the other, kind of start coming together. At least you're a little more solid than you were in your 20s, hopefully a little more knowledge, and things just come together. You still feel good. Your body's not beat to shit, and things are good. When you start pushing my age, man, every day gets tougher and tougher, and all those things that your parents told you, yeah, just wait till you're our age, they're hitting, the doctor tells you, you got to quit eating this, you gain 40 pounds, your feet hurt, your knees hurt, your hands are falling apart, your eyes suck, I can't see anything anymore, which affects your shooting drastically. Trust me, it's affected mine tremendously. But happy birthday, Joe. I'm glad it's your birthday. What happened that's so bad? Today my mom's in the hospital on her way to the nursing home. I'm going to be homeless in less than 2 months, and there's nothing I can do about it. Yes, there is. There's always something you can do about it, Joe. Don't worry about that. It'll come together, my man. There's somebody watching out for you, I promise you. And there's certainly people here watching out for you. But as they say, and sometimes it's hard to believe, but you know what I've been through in the last couple of years. And I promise you, God has a plan. It might seem like a fucked up plan. Sorry. But it's true. There's a plan one way or another. And it comes together. And you may not know it today or tomorrow or next week, but one day that light will go on and you'll understand why. And he doesn't give you anything that you can't handle. Just remember that. Trust me, I know there's days when you go, bullshit, I can't handle one more bit, but somehow you find a way. So just hang in there, buddy. We're all here for you. Joe's like a fixture here. So, and he's been here from the beginning, as have a lot of the people in here. So, I truly care about the guys in here. They come every week just to listen to me babble, and who am I? I'm nobody. I'm no expert. I don't know any more than you guys do. Maybe I've just done it a time or two more. I don't know. Or maybe I haven't. Maybe I'm just spouting off every week. I don't know. But I care about these guys that care enough to come in here every week, even though, we're a small channel that doesn't necessarily grow much all the time. But hey, we get through it. We have fun, and you need a break from every day, and break with our hobby, which is guns, firearms. Why not? It beats sitting on the couch and watching some drivel, right? Russ says 1,000 yards would be fun. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I'm gonna have to get some higher powered optics so I can see it. Chase Kelly's here. Chase has been here since the beginning. Good to see you. Orion Fixer's here. Another one since the beginning. I missed last live because my net died. I was gonna. Oh man, rough, Joe. Rough. I'm telling you, it's your rifle. Dress it up your way. I do. That's the thing, guys. I tell you all the time. There's influencers out there, whether it's me, I'm not an influencer. I don't have enough followers to be an influencer, but whether it's me or another AK channel or another firearms channel or Instagram, the latest and greatest, and they're all showing it. You see styles in firearm change, not necessarily always for the better. Sometimes it's just the cool thing, the hip thing, the whatever. I've seen it in AKs. AKs change drastically. Yeah, you go from standard looking military platforms to short guns to medium guns to different gas blocks to this to that. And a lot of people think, well, if I don't have a rifle or a pistol that looks like that guy's, then um, I'm not part of the crowd. Well, things have to change, and things have to be advertised, and you can't just show the same old all the time, right? So companies come up with different things and different examples, and there's companies that are extremely good at it. SIG is one of them. Look at their 1911s and how many models they offer, and look at Arsenal, who, let's change the color plastic, and let's change the stock, and let's do this, and let's do that. Another one that's great at it right now is Zastava. Look at all the models of the ZPAP that they offer. It's all the same gun. It's what makes you happy. So you're much better off accessorizing or outfitting your gun with the kit that, number one, fits you, helps you shoot better, works for you in whatever situation you're putting that gun together for. If you're talking about, well, I want a DMR or something like that, well, you're going to build something totally different than if it's your go-to everyday do everything AK, right? And I've done that. My NPAP over here, talk about it all the time. That gun is done up for me, and 90% of my shooting with an AK, it does it better than anything else. I could have done it on a Vepr or any of my guns, but that gun fit, and I can bang it around, not give a rat's ass about it, have a good time. Make it fit you so that you shoot better. The gun should fit you. You shouldn't fit the gun. I see guys that are all hunched up and in and all over the place. Make that gun fit you. Make that optic. You should be able to throw that gun up, eyes closed, open your eyes, and your eye relief for an optic or iron sights or whatever is right on. Your cheek is right on. You're not having to hunch in and fit yourself to the gun. The gun just fits you. So, and it might not look anything like what the top 5 AK influencers are showing at that moment, but who cares? The one credit I give Rob Ski, he's literally one of the first. I credit him with a lot of the AK craze. There wasn't an AK craze before Rob Ski hit. I mean, there was. We were the guys that were into it. We were building stuff and buying kits and collecting stuff quietly, and you were looked at as almost like that prepper guy that was buying the SKSs, by the crate load and putting them away for a rainy day. All the AR guys you'd say, "Let me see that Wasser over there." And this guy can't afford one of these. Well, how the tables have turned, huh? Yeah, it's funny, but I credit Rob Ski with bringing a lot of that popularity to the platform. There were way, 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 way more AKs available and on the market 20 years ago than there are now. So why didn't the craze happen before? Well, I I uh, I think social media had a huge thing to do with it, and Rob Ski was one of the first out there to focus strictly on AKs. And frankly, he's the one that kind of spurred me on to do this channel, and I give him credit. He same opinion. Make the gun fit you. He was the guy putting tape on his grip. Didn't care what anything looked like. Didn't care if it matched. Didn't care if it was, all banged up or whatever. As long as that gun fit him and shot well. And he's one of the few guys out there. It's so funny. I see a lot of people that are considered in the AK community that can't let them have their pick of their rifles, right? Maybe they got 30 of them. Take their pick and go out and hit a target at 500 yards with an AK. I'll bet 95% of them can't do it with 2 boxes of ammo. I'm willing to bet the majority of them can't. It's not to say the AK is inaccurate. You just have to be able to shoot it, and you have to know your rifle too. And Rob Ski does it all the time. And granted, that's his job. He's a sniper, but he also teaches those techniques too. If you watch his videos, there's a ton of stuff in there. You may like him, you may not like him, but he, I think, was one of the first ones to get out there and really make it popular. And since then, you've got everything from hipsters to whatever pushing AKs, and I kind of laugh because they're riding that wave. Some are super popular, and yeah, I don't know. They're not the OG, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Anyhow, we're going to talk about one of the OGs here in a minute, but let's see what else is going on. Hattori Hanzo's here. Hattori's made the trip over to, and I say Yugoslavia, but we all know it's Serbia, but he's been right outside the factory there. He was like what's that song by Foreigner, Outside the Back Door at the concert? You could hear the scream of the guitar and all that. He was outside the Zastava factory. Like, let me just see something. Let me hear that press driving rivets or whatever. He was right outside, but couldn't get in. But he's a good guy. Been here forever. TAC 556. Not sure if I've seen him here before, but welcome. What's up? I'm turning 43 tomorrow and feel great. That's God. Long live AKs. Absolutely, man. Hang on to that feeling, because I'm telling you, at 55, and I shouldn't say it. It's my own fault. I don't take care of myself, but just take better care of yourself than you do, no matter what level you're at. Tori gets me some dominoes. Highlight of my day. There you go. AK was designed as bullet hose with a single select. It was designed the other way around. Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe it was designed as a bullet hose. Now, it was designed to be manufactured inexpensively It was manufactured so that someone with very little training could operate it. It was trained, or it was built, I won't say to be disposable, because I don't believe that. Um, I don't believe that at all. But it was certainly done in true Soviet style, where no frills, utilitarian, Spartan in some respects, if that's a word that describes it, maybe. But to be the main battle rifle of, let's say, the majority of militaries around the world, in 7.62 by 39, and later its other um, cartridges, it wasn't just a bullet hose, because you've got DMR versions, you've got uh, RPKs. Well, maybe that was a bullet hose, so to speak. But don't let anybody kid you about its accuracy. They are extremely accurate. There's at least as accurate as um, most of the ARs I own. I will say that I do believe an AR can be made more accurate than an AK. But then again, I've seen some damn accurate AKs. I don't know. But I don't describe them as bullet hoses, that's for sure. But happy birthday to both the gentlemen in here tonight. DB Cooper's here. I turned 72 a week ago. Holy man, you are older than dirt. You know that? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You're not that old, are you? Shit, I'll be there sooner than later, let me tell you. Number one, Big Bear's here. What's going on, man? Good to have you. I haven't seen you in a while. Class is now in session. I always learn something. Well, I hope so. The AK was done along the lines, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, you're right. But they did fix it a couple times. 5.45. That's a hell of a bullet. I second guess my choices sometimes over the years. I wish when 5.45 guns were around and plentiful, and 7.6 ammo was everywhere, dirt cheap, I could have just as easily put that away, and I didn't. I was the typical guy that 7.62 by 39 was the be all end all for AKs, right? That's what the average American thinks. That's the commie round, right? Let's go. And that's what I did. And there was enough to do, collect, and stockpile in one caliber, let alone another one. And I didn't truly know, or I guess I was aware of, but not fully, um, some of the big pluses to that 5.45 round. And I wish I would have at least dabbled more, because other than one or two guns, which I don't even have anymore, I don't think. Maybe I got one. I just didn't do it. And God, what I wouldn't give for 4 or 5 with 10 or 20,000 rounds of 5.45 put away, 7.6. Talk about, I think we could, it's really, that gun comes in even more into its own with that round. And I think 5.56 is going to do real well too. At the end of the day, if you fast forward 10 years down the line, I think that there'll be a lot of them out there, more than there are now, and we'll see. Some guns that are just gonna be pretty damn impressive, and some loads that are really going to help too. So it'll be interesting to watch, and we're watching it. Sam fives, and not to say it's something new. It's been around a long time. I mean, they made a Wasser in 5.56. They made Chinese guns in 5.56. It's been around a long time. So it'll be interesting though, because it's really, I think, really the Sam 5 put a spotlight on it, and Arsenal some more. Maybe that door's still open. I can. Spring gets close, but we'll see. Yep, 72 years old, and don't feel a day over. Yeah. Well, I am, let's see, what am I going to be? Well, I won't be 60 this year, but damn close. How's that sound? I know I look damn good, don't I? This gives it all away, though. I'm kidding. Anyhow, let's talk about some firearm news because I don't want to be, I'm not that 2A firearm channel, although, you guys all know when I get on my rants. I think you guys like those rants, though, when I get pissed off and I just get going on them, right? But we've got some important stuff. I actually made notes tonight. That never happens. I don't script this show. I don't anything. But before I get into it, let's just say, because I don't script it, and if you ever read the description, which nobody does, we talk about what you want to talk about here. So you guys ask questions in the chat here, or you guys start talking amongst yourselves about ammo, firearms, rifles, pistols, 2A stuff, whatever, tractors. I don't give a damn. Anything, archery, anything cool. We'll talk about it. We let you guys kind of guide it. I throw a few things out here. You guys talk, ask the questions. I'll answer them. And then everybody else will join in. If you're new here and you've never participated or come in here, nobody here, everyone's been here a long time. No one's going to make fun of you, no matter the question. Ask it. There's guys here with a lot of knowledge on all subjects, not just AKs. Need life advice? We can give you that. Women advice, not so much. We're not very good at that. But just ask my wife. But yeah, we'll try. We'll do our best. That being said, this channel, for the most part, and we don't get many videos out these days, but for the most part, they get demonetized. The only support we have for this channel is through super chats right here at the bottom there. You hit that little dollar sign and throw a comment in there, and you can donate money to the channel that goes to supply all the things we do here. For instance, our camera microphone broke the other day, and I got to replace a new one. Well, they're a little more expensive than ever. They're up to almost $300 for the one I had now. And then our hard drive took a shit and took every video and clip I ever had for this channel, 5 years, whatever it's been, gone. And I got to get another one. And then that's not counting ammo and the guns to do the videos and everything else. So anything you can throw in there is appreciated. And when you do, we'll always try to get to your question early. Or if you just want to throw something our way, it's certainly appreciated and it goes to the channel. Then thank you guys all for your support, because everybody here has done something over the time period, and they do when they can. And it's certainly appreciated. And that's that. I don't harp on it any more than that, but make sure you do hit like on the video too, because it helps us out there. So let's talk about what's going on. And like you, I get information from other videos I watch, other people in the community, and I'll always shout them out and talk about them when I've watched their video and it's made me think a little bit. But if you've never heard of John Crump, well, you should have, and you should know his channel, John Crump News. That's simple, right here on YouTube. He's a 2A advocate, author. You'll see him on AmmoLand. He writes stories there. He's an investigative reporter. He's well connected with lots and lots of people in the political realm and the 2A realm, and he is a fabulous asset, not only of the Second Amendment, but of our community in general, and he's a great entertainer at the same time. Matter of fact, he's having a live stream tonight to benefit his daughter. If you jump over to his channel, or if you get a notification that he's having it, by all means, jump out of here and go over there and support his daughter. His daughter has some medical issues, and it's to support her. So make sure you stop over there. However, we all know about the NRA story in the case with New York, right? And New York suing the NRA. I'm not going to go back and go over the whole story, but essentially, their New York sued the NRA and Wayne LaPierre for misappropriation of funds, right? His $2 million flights and chartered jets and $5,000 suits and yeah, all of that stuff. It wasn't just him, it was the whole board, right? Because they all signed off on it. And a judge found that the entire board was complicit in misappropriating these funds. So at the end of the day, what does that mean for the NRA? Well, the judge can do a couple things. And John Crump talked about this. And it's funny because I was thinking about this the other day when it all came down and what's going to happen, right? At the end of the day, the NRA was always the big dog on the block, right? Lots and lots of money backing them, still tons of money, tons of assets, and they have the means to get the word out there. They have all the infrastructure built, right? And I'm not saying that I stand with the NRA or I think you should give money to them or anything like that. There's great organizations. Matter of fact, I quit giving money to the NRA, pure and simple. The last year I joined, the only reason I joined was it was a prerequisite to belong to the gun club I belonged to. And I brought it up to the management of the club and said, look, I don't agree with this. I think you should have more than one organization that people can join as a prerequisite to be a member of this club. So far, they haven't taken it up, but I quit giving them money because of this. But I still think they have the infrastructure in place more so than any other organization out there. Number one, the board needs to go. It needs to be replaced. Number two, there needs to be a more of a bond between the local state organizations. So the people's voice, the members' voices get heard. And three, and probably most importantly, they need to change their attitude where we don't give up anything. There's no compromises. They are famous for compromising, taking claim like, look what we did. We stopped this. But there's always some compromise. And in most cases, the compromises suck. We give up way too much. They need to be like GOA and others where there is no compromise. We're taking back, not giving up. We're fighting to get the NFA overturned. That we need the NFA gone. It's the Second Amendment is very, very simple, and any law pertaining to firearms is unconstitutional, and that's the way they need to look at it, pure and simple. So this judge has a choice, right? And really, there's only two choices. The judge could allow the state level organizations to, by whatever means, election or appointment, whatever, by local means, send people to the board from the state level, right? Could do that. And that's a great thing because it connects you, the member, much closer because you've got input at the state level, not necessarily how it's been run the entire time, basically. Or two, the judge could appoint someone to oversee all of this. And chances are it's not going to be someone that's pro 2A. It could be someone, an anti-gunner that the judge appoints. Who knows? It's a New York court, right? And much like a bankruptcy, I forget the term. What's the term I'm looking for? Like that'll come to me. But they put like a receiver, right? They'll appoint a receiver to make sure the money is being appropriated correctly and used for the right things. Well, what if they don't think a certain issue is, we shouldn't put money toward that? Could sink the whole thing, right? And that's a very scary proposition. I think the best case scenario would be to get people from the local state organizations and bring them in. And a guy named John Knox over at AmmoLand wrote an article about that, talking about just this. And I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think it would be a very, very good thing to, because the other way it could kill the NRA, they could be gone. But if they were to appoint board members from the state organizations where we, the members, had much more input, much more say, and put the right people there, I think it'd be a great thing. Now you're taking all that infrastructure, all that money that's still there, all that influence, all those connections, and turning it all around and doing what we want it to do. If a judge appoints it, God only knows. God only knows. So it'll be interesting to watch. And no matter what you think of the NRA previously, or even now, I mean, there's that board's still there. The Wayne LaPierre's still there. Yeah, I don't agree with it. I'm sure you don't. But don't miss the forest for the trees. I mean, there's a lot of good there. It just needs the right leadership, and it'll be just fine. It'll be a shame to waste all that. So I don't know what your thoughts are, but we'd like to hear them and see what you guys think. And if you're a member of your state rifle association, that kind of thing, it's something you should be talking about with people and trying to make your voice heard. So that's a good thing. But yeah, check out John Crump over at John Crump News, and he writes for AmmoLand too. Great stuff, great stuff. The other big thing, and I'm not sure if you guys heard, but I know most of you know that Brandon Herrera, the AK guy, AK Jesus, I'm not going to call him AK God because I was there first. I'm kidding. But he is running for Congress. And when he first announced it, a lot of people thought, oh, this is, he'll never make it. It's a joke. It's whatever. When I first heard it, I went, wow, how interesting. I mean, I think he's a perfect person for it. I did think that maybe some of his social media stuff might come to bite him in the arse a little bit. But all in all, I thought, especially being in Texas now, I thought, how perfect. He's Hispanic, number one. Number two, people think, well, he's just, as the news call him, here's how the news is referring to him in all the articles on it. They're calling him a gun rights advocate and a social media influencer. And that's, I guess, the best way they're describing him. There's other people, gun nut and this and that. And, could you imagine some of the video clips they could throw in there and show? It'd be hilarious. I actually think it'd be great. And I really think it gives a personal and real side to him. Now, yeah, okay, to the average person, maybe some of it come off a bit nuts, like the memes and things like that. But a lot of people, when I first started commenting about Brandon, a lot of people said, oh, I don't find his humor funny. I'd be on AK Files, and a lot of the guys over there, guy doesn't know anything, and I don't find him funny. I'm not watching it. He's an idiot. He doesn't know anything, this and that. I think he's perfect, and he does, contrary to popular belief, or a lot of people probably don't know, but he has a political background. He has knowledge of the system. He has connections. He has everything. I don't know how long ago it was, a couple years at least, probably. He talked about in a video, and there was a video of him speaking somewhere as well. But he, as a young man, not that he's not young now, but as a young man, he was part of Young Americans for Liberty. And that's a great organization. It takes young people, introduces them to the political realm, Obviously, it's a right-wing conservative organization, but they do a ton of good things. And Brandon talked about it in several different videos, how it influenced him. And really, I think organizations like that, my son was part of one, I think it really helps put their head on their shoulders, and so he's got that going for him. I mean, he's got connections through that. And at first, if you watch the different interviews with him, he says, I really didn't know if I could do it or not. And he really didn't want the office, but he looked at it from the standpoint of the incumbent. He didn't like the incumbent, by the way, is a rhino, okay? Complete rhino. And he said he certainly doesn't represent me, meaning Brandon. He didn't want to see him get another term and vote more the way he was already voting. So why not? And he tried, and they did some initial polling, and he contacted a few people he knew that were politically connected. And he says, yeah, why not? And it's funny, before the election and before what happened the other day, he basically foretold what happened. He said, even if I can get in there and force a runoff, uh, that he'd be happy with that. And guess what he did? He is in a runoff with the incumbent. So he's running for Texas. Texas is 23rd congressional district, and that is, if you're not from Texas, it's the extreme east end of the state and the west end of the state, and the lower part of it, and it encompasses that entire border area. It runs basically from El Paso to San Antonio, and it includes all that border there where all this crap is going on with all these what do you call them? What do I want to call them? All these invaders are coming in. Uh, that district encompasses it. And what better person to have in there than him? He's Hispanic. He's certainly not a racist. I would, not that everyone coming through there is Hispanic, but a lot of them are. They're from all over the world, 120, 140 different countries coming through there, and they're coming through illegally. So, hey, what better guy to have there than him? And somebody that supports the Second Amendment like he does and helps out young people, and being his age and the people that follow him are young people. And that's who we need to get involved in firearms. I think every year, just due to media and or either lack thereof or bad media, I think we lose a ton of young people. They're not exposed to it. Certainly, a ton of young people growing up in an urban environment just aren't exposed to hunting or shooting or those type of things. And that's where it all starts. Everyone thinks, well, it's all AKs, assault weapons, this and that. It's not. At the beginning, think back when you first got involved. It was because somebody took you to the range, showed you how to shoot, took you hunting, maybe pheasants or deer or whatever, or target shooting. It was that. It wasn't all about black rifles and military surplus stuff and all of that, right? You need to start them at a young age, and somebody's got to be there to do it. And in an urban environment, a lot of that just isn't there. So, young people and social media, well, they get exposed to it. They find an interest in it. Brandon, certainly his interest is just as heavily into the history surrounding firearms and the stories that were made and or changed by armies using firearms, right? So it's a great combination, I think. His age, his ethnicity, his ideas, Everything, his background, I think, is coming together. It's almost like, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Destiny? I don't know. Maybe that's a little too far. I don't know. But I will tell you this. I'm looking at the pictures of the candidates. Brandon's one of them. He is one sexy looking man. I'm telling you right now. They get the beard, the hair, AK Jesus, they call him. Um, yeah, I wish I looked half that damn good. Jesus, I used to. I don't know what happened. Maybe I should grow the hair out again, but mine was more a mullet than anything. I don't think, man, Brandon, mullet. I'm thinking mullet. So I'm going to throw something in here before I talk about his campaign more. But when Brandon first started out, the AK Guy channel, right? Um, and I told you guys before, I initially watched it, and some of the advice he was given was just, I'll just say bullshit. I guess not bullshit, but he was talking about sanding a receiver and all kinds of stuff. And I thought, who's this jackass, And I think looking back now, I was a little jealous actually, because Brandon didn't just light the candle. He didn't burn it at both ends. He took a flamethrower to it when it came to AKs. He bought up these huge hordes of parts. He was making the AK Guy rifle. Now, yeah, I went after him with a video on it. That's the only way Brandon knows of me, I'm sure. And it's probably just a blip. He doesn't even remember it probably, or know who I am or anything. Never met the man. I will say I got to shoot one of those AK rifles, AK Guy rifles that were made by another company that he was saying he was producing them at the time. Maybe he was producing some, but not all, definitely. But the one that had his name on it and his stamp and everything was a fabulous, fabulous rifle. A buddy of mine still has it. It's a great rifle. It was finished impeccably well, shot well. It was a great rifle. But I went after him in a video, and I later felt bad about it as I watched him grow and his channel grow and everything he did from the AK-50 project on up. I really admired the man and still do. And I once put a sort of pseudo apology in a chat somewhere around AK files or something. I don't remember. Um, Half-heartedly hoping he'd get a hold of me or something. Never did. Like I said, I was not even a blip on his radar probably. But I really want you guys to take a look at him. If you are from Texas and from that district, you need to get out and vote. So he forced a runoff. The incumbent's name is Tony Gonzalez. And when you see Brandon's picture next to him, you'll see what I'm talking about. He looks like this pasty-faced, and then there's Brandon. Yeah. He's one sexy, as John Crump would say, he's one sexy motherfucker. How's that sound? It didn't work well. I was trying to do it like John, but it didn't work. But Brandon's a good-looking man. Is it? That's not too gay, is it? No, it's okay. Anyhow, this Tony Gonzalez, he's a rhino, big-time rhino. Matter of fact, the Republican Party censured him when he broke from the party. And a couple of things. Brandon talks about how he voted for an anti-gun bill, which he did, and says that he will vote again for the same bill. But he also broke from the party and voted to defend same-sex marriage protections, all kinds of stuff, just things that don't follow the party line, right? When it comes to Democrats, boy, they follow that party line like nobody's business, but not here. So he's definitely a rhino, and yeah. So Brandon's running against him. Gonzalez got 45% of the vote, and Brandon got 25%. There were 5 candidates in the race, so obviously that other 35% went to those other candidates. Well, in Texas, you got to get at least 50%, or it forces a runoff. Well, 45 for Gonzalez, the incumbent, got all that Republican money behind him, and lots of other money, I'm sure. And Brandon, that came out of the blue, out of nowhere, 25%. That's huge, huge. He has a chance. But you know what's going to happen now? And this Gonzalez didn't take him seriously at all. They thought, YouTube personality, AK guy, AK Jesus, all this crap. They thought, well, look what he did. It's amazing. But now it's time for us to get behind him, because today it's Texas. What if this happens in your state and something like this happens? You'd want people to go in and support this candidate, because we need candidates like this across the country. And Brandon can do it. He just needs some help. You can go to his website, which is BrandonHerreraForCongress.com. Yeah, I'm sure you guys can figure out how to spell Herrera, right? 2 R's, then 1 R. BrandonHerreraForCongress.com. You can donate to his campaign. Probably some of the best money you'll ever spend this year. I think he can do this. I truly do. Think about that. Think about a YouTube influencer, young guy coming from nowhere. And I know he has, that's why I fell in love with him like this in his channel. And I'm just proud of him, really. He came from nothing, and it started with the AK Guy channel, the AK Rifle, all his social media, his companies, the AK-50 project, on and on. He has the drive to do it. Not to mention, he does a ton of things, young people's organizations that he speaks at, all kinds of stuff. He'd be great. He'd be great. Imagine there's another channel out there, and this is funny. It's the channel is called Angry Cops, and he did a hilarious video, and he was doing memes about Brandon going to Congress, and he said, "Hey, who knows? Brandon for Congress, Brandon for governor, Brandon for POTUS." Could you imagine? Hey, you never know. Stranger things have happened. Then I thought about his Hispanic heritage, and so did this gentleman with this other channel. Imagine, what if Brandon started dating Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Could you imagine? I mean, if you blanked her mind out, right? Blanked it out, if you could erase the hard drive, she's not a bad-looking girl, right? But as he said, Brandon's going to have to, if he was going to do that, he'd have to inject some conservative values in her. I found that hysterical, absolutely hysterical. But who knows? Brandon and Alexandria? Brandon's married. I'm just joking around. Anyhow, yeah, guys, if you go over to his website, Brandon Herrera for Congress. Oh crap, is it .com or .net or .org? It's probably .org or .net or .gov. I don't know. I'll find out. I'll put it in here later, but or maybe someone can look real quick and comment and see. But that's money well spent, and I'd love to see him get in. Wouldn't you guys? Hey, AK Community Speaks, right? The Roaming Prepper. Hey, Rockford Ordnance in chat. Hey, how are you, man? Thanks for stopping in. We appreciate it. For those of you that are just stopping in, like the description says, we talk about what you want to talk about. So we rely on the chat and the comments to drive the conversation. I threw out a few things at the beginning here, maybe a little news, things like that. We talked about the NRA thing with New York and what this judge can do possibly going forward in the case. We talked about Brandon Herrera forcing a runoff in Texas's 23rd Congressional District. Huge news. Go over to the website, throw whatever you can. I will absolutely love the day that if he wins that runoff. I think he can. I truly believe he can. People don't care for him. And I think people, especially Texas, are okay with a, how'd they describe it? Gun rights advocate and social media influencer. And that's the nicest way they've described him, trust me. Let's go back to the comments here and see who else has popped in here. Boy, you guys are live and well tonight on the comments. Maybe that's because I'm back to Wednesday night, huh? Rock, can you recommend an over-under for skeet trap? So I don't shoot over and unders much. Maybe for doubles or something like that. I've got a Winchester 101 pigeon grade that I shoot, but Browning's got some nice guns. Take a look at some of the Brownings. Really, really nice stuff. I shoot, it's funny, as much trap as I've shot and at the level I shoot at, my main go-to gun was a Remington 870 trap, B grade. Really, my wood is almost C grade. Monte Carlo stock, double bead, all that. 30-inch barrel, forcing cone's been done, reducer in the stock, all that kind of stuff. Open it, full choke, opened up just a hair, and we shoot heavy handicap loads. But there's a lot of good guns. I've got now I've inherited from my dad a Perazzi. He always shot Perazzis, a very expensive Italian gun, and it always fit me well. So I'm gonna, next time I go out trap shooting, I'm gonna take it with me, just because it was dad's, and I always wanted one. I just couldn't afford one. But his gun needs to get worked out on the trap range, and he told my mother specifically that we needed to he was cremated. We need to take some of his ashes, put them in my reloader, and reload some trap rounds with a little bit of his ashes in there. And I'm going to fire it out over his favorite trap club's field. So I'm going to do that. We had a little bit put aside for they give you jewelry now. You can put people's ashes in it, all this stuff. But we have a little bit set aside for that. So we're actually going to do that. And it'll be great. All his friends, he was a member of this trap club for, oh God, got to be pushing 40 years. And, everybody there was like a family. And I grew up there from a little kid. Everybody knows me since I was 10 years old, Excuse me, guys, 1 minute. Oh, don't tell me. Hopefully it didn't screw everything up, did it? How did that happen? What happened to my... Hold on. What the heck? God damn it, I can't find the thing on the computer here. What the heck? How do we get it back up here? There we go. Okay. Leave it to my one buddy here to screw up my live stream. Hold on. I'm going to take a 5-second break, guys. Give me 5 seconds so this doesn't happen again. All right, hold on. All right, sorry about that. We're back. I always silence my phone, but I forgot to. In any case, it was time for a little break. This is Koffee and Kalashnikovs, but around here we do Peach Red Bull. Brandon has his White Claws, and we do this. So that's what we're doing. Anyhow, yeah, I'd check out some Brownings, Winchesters. As far as newer over and unders, CZ for the money has got some nice shotguns out. I don't know what they have for trap guns. I know they have some. And then I can't remember the name of the shotgun company. They started coming in years ago. They came in with a tactical gun. Shotgun. It was cheap. I think Russian. They were like $99 or something ridiculous. I bought one, and it was kind of crap. But they've come a long way. I can't remember the name. It'll come to me here. Just so hang on a minute. But that's the route I would go for an over and under. Matter of fact, I've got to find a stock for my Winchester 101 pigeon grade. The stock at one point was cut and raised using like this clear resin polyurethane. A professional stock guy did it to raise the comb a little bit for my dad. And while it fits me, I want to put the stock back to stock. And I want to use that gun for hunting. Great pheasant gun. So I'd like to do that. Let's see. Chase says, that's cool, Chris. My primary fighting go-to is also a Thunder Ranch arrow built with Wilson barrel and bolt carrier group. It runs amazingly slick with the Cerakote receiver and all. Yeah. So I couldn't find the whole rifle from Arrow. I was just going to buy the rifle done, right? And they were sold out, but I could buy the upper and a complete upper and complete lower. And that's what I did. I bought the complete lower. Actually, I think, no, I bought the lower receiver and I put the rest together on the lower. But the upper I bought complete with the 14.5-inch welded and pinned barrel. Put it together. Used a, I got to think here and look at it. I used a law folder Magpul stock, but the real small one, it's like short and it's smaller than a regular AR stock. Collapsible, still very similar to a regular M4, but it's smaller. And what trigger did I put in that thing? Rise Armament. They're one of their nicer triggers. Obviously, the EOTech with the magnifier. Arrow, their big, ginormous charging handle. Grip is a Magpul. I have an angled foregrip and a Surefire light. And what else is on that rifle? I love the Magpul slings, where you can convert with the QD points. I can convert from a single point to a 2-point sling. It's just a great rifle. Just love it. So yeah, if I think they still pop up on Arrow site once in a while. The receivers do and all. Rock, can you recommend? Oh, that's the over-under. Yeah, that's what I would do. And trap and skeet, by the way, are two different things. Yeah, skeet gun's different than trap. Shorter barrel, more open chokes. Pretty good difference between a trap gun and a skeet gun. Mozzarella sticks out of the oven. AK talk. Good time, Satori Hanzo. Let's see. What else? All right, let's get down to the good comments here. Class is now in session. Yes, it is. Let's see what you guys have to say. I wish I would have gotten into AKs a lot sooner in life. I was caught up in American firearms for the first 10 years. Ross, yeah. You know how I got, you guys, for those of you that have been around here a long time, my dad was huge into guns, right? So my room was the storage facility. There were just rifles, everything from shotguns, 22s to FNs and everything in between, just stacked in the corner of my room as a kid. And I'd go shooting with my dad, and there was everything and anything to shoot. Uzis, Ingram MAC-10s, FNFALs, original Colt Sporters, Colt single-action pistols. You name it, it was there. So you just thought, oh, that's how it is. There's all this stuff, right? And when I went to the police department, I grew up shooting trap. First gun I ever got was my trap gun, my 870 trap that my dad bought me for like my 13th or 14th birthday. And we shot trap 4 nights a week, all my life, forever. Hundreds of thousands of rounds I've reloaded and shot with my dad. And then when I was 15 or so, he bought me a Winchester Model 94 30-30 lever action from Kmart. and it was in their ad for $99. And that was my birthday present in October. And I hunted deer with it that first year in Missouri, actually. So yeah, Winchester Model 94 3030 for $99 from Kmart. Still got it. It looks like brand new, even though I've hunted with it every single year of my life. I've just taken good care of it. It did get one time it got a little rust on the receiver, couple light tiny specks, and I wish I would have known more then and it wouldn't have been anything, but I used a little steel wool and oil. Now, if I showed you the gun, you'd go, what, where? I mean, it's infinitesimal. You can't see it. I know it's there, but thank God I didn't, scrub the piss out of it or something. But I should have taken apart, boiled the receiver, and it would have been just fine. It still is. You can't tell. There's no pitting. There's no nothing. It was like sugar rust, tiny little dots from. It was wet when I came in from hunting. That's all, and didn't wipe it down. But only a few spots, and you couldn't see it. I challenge you to it. It's that nice. And then my third gun was my police service revolver when I went on the police force. Smith & Wesson 357 4-inch barrel, 686. Yeah, right. Before it left the gun shop, I had a Hogue grip on it, and it fit my duty belt and my holster and all my rig and everything. And I was the last class to go through the police academy with revolvers. And the day after I graduated, not the day after, but we went and had to requalify with automatics. So yeah, up until the time I was 21 or so, 22, I don't know how old I was in 19, I was 89, I guess, or 90. Yeah, I had 3 guns, and that's where it stayed for many, many years, at least. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 8 years till I was almost 30. I had kids already, and I'm walking through a place called MC Sports. It's like a Dick's or something, and I saw a sign. They had these military surplus rifles, and $69. And I was there for something else. I just happened to walk past a gun counter. I'm with my son. I asked the guy, "What are those?" He says, "Oh, there's a Mosin Nagant." Hands me the rifle, and it was an M44. And I thought, how cool with the folding bayonet and everything. $69. What's it shoot? This and that. So I bought an M44 and a couple of boxes of Brown Bear. And I went home and started reading about it. And the first time I shot it and that 3-foot fireball came out the end, I was hooked. And it was off to the races, man. I bought Mosin Nagants like they were going out of style. M44s, M38s, 9130s, hex receivers, X snipers, you name it, $69. When they went to $99, I said, screw you. I will never pay $99 for a Mosin Nagant. Are you out of your mind? And I quit buying them. Well, I had amassed a very sizable collection of Mosin Nagants. And by that point, I had read everything there was to read about Mosin Nagants. I knew everything there was to know inside and out. I had so many variants and variables that it didn't matter. And I was on to the next thing, which was the SKS. And at that time, the Yugoslavian guns were coming in, and they were $199. And I got that, and then I found a Russian one and a Chinese one, and on and on. And then Valentine's Day, me and my wife walk in a gun shop, and there lay a century-built Yugo M70 AB2, new in the box, and a Wasser 10 laying in the box there. And I honestly thought the Wasser was a used gun, and I thought the underfolder was cooler. My wife bought me my first AK for my birthday, or for Valentine's Day, and then it was really off to the races. So I was between 28 and 30 at the time, and that was just about 20 years ago. And from all I did was concentrate on AKs, and I bought everything and anything that came my way. And I was buying other stuff too. I mean, anything that I thought was cool. You ever walk in a gun shop and before you walk in, you know you're buying something that day. It just, you got that itch, right? So you walk in and you're looking on the wall. Okay, what's cool? What's the coolest thing? And it may be an AK that catches your eye, or maybe something else. Um, you never knew. I mean, I bought Henrys. I bought Glocks. I bought Smith and Wessons. I bought IWIs. I bought AR. Oh yeah, I remember my first AR because I had shot my dad's. Before that, didn't know anything really about ARs, and I think it was the Obama election, maybe the first one. And everybody, oh, the ban, they're going to ban them, they're going to ban them. And I thought, I'm this into guns at this point. I mean, I had a lot of guns at that point, but never an AR. They didn't enthuse me at all. And I thought, well, if this is going to happen, I better get me an AR. So, and I remember I was sitting in my father-in-law's car outside the gun shop, and he said, "What you thinking about?" I said, "I'm thinking I need an AR." And there weren't a lot around because they were selling out everywhere, right? And this local shop that I frequented all the time, still to this day, one of my favorite shops. I wish they were still there. They had a Stag Arms. They still made it. Was a Stag Arms M4, and it was affordable, sort of. And I looked at him. I said, "I'll be right back." And I ran back in the shop, and they had a layaway program. I think I put $200 down on it. It was like $600 or something like that. And over the next 30 days, I paid it off and got my first AR. And then me and my dad went in there, and they had a sale on the old school EOTech, the long one. Took the double A's. We each got one of those, and they were expensive back then. They still are, but he gave us an unheard of deal. Like, I couldn't believe I bought Neotech for this. And no, it was the real deal and all. But the guy was just a super nice guy. So now I had my M4, of course, with a big ass forward grip that you hit the button and the bipod came out, and my EOTech on it. And of course, I replaced it with Chinesium quad rail up front, the slip-in one, because I couldn't figure out, well, how the heck am I going to get these rails over that big front sight? I'm going to have to take a saw. Oh, God. Yeah, it'll come a long way, man, in the last 30 years or so. But yeah, that was the first AR. How the hell did we get here? I don't know. Anyhow, Ross saying that he wished he had got there sooner. You know, I wish a lot of things that, thinking back about how cheap some stuff was. And while I've got a pretty good representation of most things, there's certainly stuff I still wish I either bought or bought more of or whatever. But it's still there. You can still do it. Maybe not to that level, but you can do it. Chase, I have my late dad's Browning Satori. That's what I was going to say. The Satoris are fabulous guns, and it held its own next to 15K Parazzis at my dad's skeet group. Yeah. Parazzis on the low end, they're probably 10 grand, and on the high end, God only knows. And then there's Ludics, which those can be 20, 30 grand. My dad had one of those, had it stolen. We were on our way to a trap club, and we were driving. He had a I wish I had this car because it's got a lot of great stories. My dad was, let's just say, well off, okay? And one day we're driving. I forget what car he had at the time, but we were getting ready. Oh, I know what it was. He had a Bronco. And we're going down this road by our house, and we were getting ready to go down deer hunting in Missouri. And we were going to get something, and we get stopped at a light, and on the light on the corner is a Cadillac dealer. And he looks in the window. He goes, "Look at that caddy." And I look, and in the window on the showroom floor is a white Eldorado with a red pinstripe, wire wheels, and a blood red interior. And the thing was, it was stunning. He goes across 3 lanes, pulls over, pulls in front, and this dealer was on a busy street. He had to park on the street. And we go in, and I'm not kidding you, in half an hour, bing, bang, boom, we were out of the Bronco and in an Eldorado, and we're going wherever we were going. And I looked over at him. I said, "Hey, what are we taking hunting?" And he looked at me and went, like, "Oh, shit." Because at the time, I had a Trans Am. That wasn't going to make it. Trust me, not hunting. And here we are in this white Eldorado, right? So we take the Eldorado down to Missouri, and we pull in. The guy's name was Corky. The farmer was Corky. It was a cousin of my dad's. And he was as uh, southern sort of hillbilly sort of farmer as it gets. And that year, when we got our deer, we strapped them to the back of that Eldorado, and I remember the blood running down the side of it. And I looked at him. I said, "We got to be the only two idiots driving with deer strapped to an old brand new Eldorado." But it was funny, and the farmer laughed his ass off at that. But anyhow, we were in that Eldorado. Another story about it, and we're running late. We're going to a money shoot for trap. We shot money games way out somewhere, and my dad gets off the highway real quick, and his restaurant was right there that he owned. And we pull in his restaurant. He says, "Come on, we got to get some coffee." So we jumped out of the car, ran in. He left it running with the keys in, got our coffee. We were in there a minute, turned around, came out. The Eldorado was gone. It had a Ludic in the trunk, and at the time I was shooting a Beretta at his. It had a 38 snub in the glove box and something else, all stolen. Can you imagine these uh, criminals finding this multiple, I don't know, 10, 20, $30,000 Ludic shotgun uh, and sawing the barrel off, most likely? Can you imagine? Not knowing what they had at all. And the 38 snub, they found the Eldorado burned out on the west side of Chicago. And that was the end of the Eldorado. And yeah, so he went back to Parazzi's, and that's all he shot until he passed away last year. And his Parazzi that he has now is a very nice. The problem with expensive shotguns like that is they are made for the person that shoots them. The stock is just so it's canted. The comb is the right height, and the length of pull, and the trigger. Maybe you got a release trigger with trap. That's for guys that don't know what they're doing. They get so far into it, make so many changes, and it's still not where they need to be, and they're still not shooting right. So, oh, it must be that. I'll put a release trigger in. Stop. Just learn to shoot and shoot more. That's all. Anyhow, these expensive shotguns are really tailored to the person that shoots them, similar to what I was telling you guys to do with your AKs or whatever your go-to rifle is. Make it yours. Don't fit yourself to that gun. Make it yours. And that's the problem. Try and find an unmodified, or if you want to use the term, unscrewed up or messed with high-end shotgun. They just don't exist. People get them, and immediately either they're ordered for them, or if they happen to find one with basically what they want. Then they have a stock guy change this or change that, or they do things to the barrel, the trigger. Well, he found a really nice, unmolested, it basically was new Perazzi, and it fit him right out of the box so well. He just left it, and it happens to fit me perfectly. And I haven't shot it. He hadn't shot it in years because he was getting frail. He just couldn't hold the gun up anymore. He'd always say, come on, let's go to the club. And he just wanted to go hang with the guys, play cards, watch the rest of them shoot, and talk guns and have coffee. And he'd always say, yeah, throw my shotgun in the trunk. And then he'd say something like, I don't know if I could hold it up. I said, yeah, you can, Dad. You get out there and shoot, And he never tried to hold it up because I know he knew he couldn't at that point. But I never let on that I didn't think he could, and always urged him to shoot. And if I had to, I'd help him. Although I don't think he would have wanted me to. It would have been, and that's why he didn't try. I don't think he didn't want anyone to see that, that he couldn't do it. His nickname at that club was Cash. We shot money games for Cash, and he was one of the oldest members there, longest term members. He was a fixture there. All the main people of that, every club has like a main group of guys. He was one of them. He was beloved by just about everybody. I don't think he ever got into any serious tussles with anybody. He was known as one of the best shooters there, period. When he was in his prime there, he won a lot of games. There were many, many, many fabulous shooters there. Matter of fact, I'd take the top 15, maybe even 20 from this club and put them up against anyone in the country. Anyone. There were times when we'd travel together, 10, 15 of us, to these other clubs to shoot money games and clean house. They didn't know what hit them. It was like showing up at a pool hall and taking all their money, that kind of deal, and I don't care whether it was money shoots or registered ATA shoot. These guys were and are the best shooters you'll ever see in the trap game. I'll say I've beaten all of them at some point, but they've beaten me many more times. I'm a good shooter, but I don't shoot to that level because I don't shoot as much as they do. I guess I probably could if I did. But I don't know if I'm talking myself down or up. I don't know. But anyhow, it was a lot of fun, and that's where my gun thing started. And it's never too late. So you didn't get into it too late. But hey, Chase, enjoy that Satori, man. A great gun. My dad had a Satori for a while. I don't know, he got rid of it, whatever. It just wasn't one that he did well or shot well with. So he was on to the next, I'm sure. But yeah, for around $2,000, I think they can go even higher. But yeah, there's a lot of solid guns. Beretta makes a lot of nice trap guns, all of that. Wayne is a cancer to the NRA. Absolutely agree. Dedicated trap gun. My dad tried a $400 Stoeger SBS 20 gauge and shot it for a ton. Yeah, I told you, I shot an 870. To this day, I'll shoot my 870. I shoot it better than I've had my choice of all these high-end shotguns. My dad would have said, yeah, take that one, shoot it, take that one. And often did, but I always went back to and always shoot. I shoot my 870 the best. There's nothing I can't hit with that gun. And I hunt with that gun quite a bit too. Teach a newbie how to shoot, absolutely. Let's see. I want to trust Herrera, but the thing is, everyone in office sells out. You know what I think it is? Here's my thought on politicians and that type of deal. I think they go to Washington with fabulous intentions. They all do. I think they're Probably a lot of them pure as the driven snow when they get there. And very quickly, they fall into the trap. And it's not that they were looking for it or wanted to. I think in some way, shape, or form, someone there in Washington gets something on them. I don't know what. It could be maybe as little as maybe they got a kid, gets pulled over for a DUI, or maybe a little worse even, maybe an accident with one. And, like any parent, they want to take care of their kid. Hey, Joe, we can cover this. We can take care of this. Don't worry about it. I got it. Anything, the littlest thing, maybe less than that even, but they get something on them. And then they own them. They own them, period. The slightest misstep, poor choice, I'm not even saying criminal or bad, anything, and they got it on them, and it's done, and then they're in. They can't get out. I think that happens to a lot of them. Others, maybe they, it probably starts off slow, and who knows what it leads to. But I truly believe there are good people there. There has to be, or it would have fallen apart a long time ago. Not that it isn't right now, but you got to be street smart going in, and I got a feeling Brandon is, and I would like to hear what you're saying is, Brand. You want to trust him, whatever, but he's not there yet. So, what's the worst case scenario? He turns like the rest of them, but he's your best chance at getting what we all want in there. And I think Brandon's smart enough, good enough to get things done. I hope he wins, but I also hope he doesn't. Yeah, I don't think he'll sell us out. I don't think so at all. No way. I would be shocked. Yeah, and way better than what's in there now. He's already said he's going to vote for it. Look at that border. Look at the border. Need somebody that's going to stand up to it. That's that district. Let's see. Roaming Prepper again. Thanks for coming in. Brandon is the chupacabra. Is that what somebody said? Why would you call him a chupacabra? Brandon is the chupacabra. I found out a friend of mine, his name's Gabe. He's of Mexican descent. And I asked him, what's a chupacabra? And he told me, it's basically like this flying monster, sort of like Mexico's Bigfoot, I guess, kind of. But he uses it, or he told me families use it to keep the kids in line, kind of like the boogeyman. Oh, you better go to bed or the chupacabra is going to come, and, that kind of thing. And how he says it in Spanish always cracks me up. Let's see. I'm on my last figure it out beer and trying to form a plan, Pete. Here's. Let's see. Yeah, but my wife is actually headed home from her convention. Oh, he's talking with Joe. I want AOC from the back door. I'll make a gun lover out of you, little lady. You guys should write memes. Send me some memes. We'll do some memes. It'd be hilarious. Oh God, I thought that was funny when I heard it. I literally was like belly laughing, if you know what that means. I will make AOC a mommy on the live stream one day, and I will show my rooster tattoo. There's something about that last word there, Joe, that always makes a guy laugh, no matter how old you are. Just that word. And your what do you call it? Your oh Jesus. the little icons. What do you call those things? I forget. Is perfect for it because yeah, I'm laughing out loud. The word we're talking about is weenie. Weenie is a funny word, no matter what you say. I was 23 and going through a divorce. The drug seemed like a good idea. A lot of things back then seemed like a good idea, didn't they, Joe? And if you think back, most of the stuff was a pretty good idea at the time. It's just when they get out of hand that it's all a problem. I like old school 2-point slings. Me too. Good old MC Sports. We had one in the area for years. Then they went under. Yeah, ours did too. My friend in Milwaukee bought his SKS from Dunham's. He watched the newspaper ads and the prices dropped and dropped. He could have bought a crate for the price of one now. Yeah. Crates were dirt cheap. I used to walk in and Russian or Chinese AKSs, they'd have them in this barrel. They'd have a barrel sale. And they were like $99 for really nice ones. Joe's being funny. He's cracking me up. My brother has a Mossberg Silver too, and something like that. It's not bad over and under. Yeah. So Mossberg, Ruger made a red label, gold label, silver label. One of them, really nice gun too. There's a lot of guns out there. Don't be afraid to look at those CZs. They're made in Turkey, I believe, most of them, but very nice. Republicans have passed more anti-gun shit than any crat. K, whoever K is. Well, I won't deny that they haven't passed bad stuff. Usually in the referred to as compromise, right? But yeah, the Democrats by far lead the way. So I don't agree in that form. Ross 77, probably 750, 800 a day in Biden's world. Yeah. There's nothing under 1,000 these days. Red label. Yep. Those were nice guns. They made us side by side for a short period of time too. That I wanted bad, and then they discontinued it. I heard because they had a barrel separation problem or something. Because I love side by sides for hunting guns, and I wanted one. It had a straight stock, not an English stock. And I love side by sides with English stocks. I just think they're classic pheasant guns. I love them. Love them, love them, love them. I don't own a 20 gauge. I got my son's 20 gauge from when he was little, but I've never really hunted or shot a 20 gauge. Really, a lightweight 20 gauge is the perfect pheasant gun, in my opinion. I don't know why I ever didn't have one, but I don't know. So, yeah, we talked about the NRA crap. Yeah, we talked about Brandon's run. Once again, make sure you go to Brandon Herrera for Congress whatever it is, comnet org, whatever he's under. Make sure you do that. We talked about fitting a gun to you, and that's what I wanted to talk about. And please throw it in the comments here. If you could, let's say, and Ross, this is perfect for you where you say you missed out. Of all the AK variants out there from all the different countries, whether they're banned from import now or like Chinese or Russian, Bulgarian, Yugoslavian, Egyptian, Romanian, US, any AK ever available on the market at any time, if you had a rack full of them, which one would you take? And I'm not talking just collector value in that. Which gun would you start with as the base platform to build your perfect rifle? And what would you add and why? What would you do there? Would you pick a Chinese gun? And I don't really want, and don't take into consideration oh, because I can't get it, or it's not, it's not available, or I don't have a Chinese one, so I want a Chinese. No, if they're all available and you can just grab one off the rack and modify it into your perfect gun, or maybe you don't need to modify it, but to turn it into your, I gotta go, and I gotta grab one rifle, and I'm out the door. Which gun would it be? Which AK? I'm curious to know. And I will tell you what mine is. It's a tough choice, I know. Trust me. I know some I can rule out right away. And you can add anything. You can change grips, handguards, barrel length, or maybe you don't need to. Gas blocks. You can change anything on it, any caliber too. Think about caliber. Um, you know, 7.62 by 39, 5.45, 5.56, maybe 308, maybe 7.62 by 54R. The Vepers came in all kinds of calibers. What would you take? Would it be a DMR? I'd be very interested. Tell me about your perfect AK. Maybe you've already got it built. Maybe it's in your safe right now. Maybe you got it. Your dream gun, your perfect gun. Maybe it's a boutique manufacturer. Maybe you had Mark Krebs whip you up something. He's got a couple neat things that he's brought out and got a few guys shooting. And I'm a little upset he didn't contact me, but I'm going to go contact him because I want to run one through its paces. I think maybe we'll have Mr. Krebs out to the estate, the homestead. I think we will do that, actually, as soon as it warms up a bit. Mark don't like the cold, so we'll get him out here. I have an Ithaca over under that belonged to my father-in-law. It's an SKB made in Japan before they went to Turkey. Cool. I have an Ithaca. The name of it was Deer Slayer. I think like ultralight or light. But and they made plenty of slug guns. This is a slug gun, but it is the police riot gun, they called it. And it's what many police officers ran. And actually, my dad carried it in his squad car for a lot of years. It's got a heavy Parkerized finish, a plain wood stock with a rubber butt pad, and plastic. It simulates sort of a fiber optic sight, but it's a extruded piece of plastic shaped like a triangle, and they cut them however long, this long, and it goes in the sight and acts as your front sight, a precursor to fiber optics. And no choke, just improved cylinder or whatever, open bore, and they're famous riot guns. And guys have taken a lot of those Deer Slayers and made them look like the police versions, but this actually is one. And they're sought after. Not a lot of money, but sought after, and neat gun. We'll have to do a video on that one. A lot of you guys will like that. So Kay says the Stava M70, scratch that, M92. Would you change it up or leave it alone? Model 37. Yeah, I think it is. All right. So this is a tough question, right? The one AK thing. With the exception of Chinese guns, there was, when I started into AKs and even for some time thereafter, pretty much I had the opportunity to purchase any AK I wanted. It was all available other than Chinese guns. They were banned before I got into it. However, I did get, my dad traded me one Chinese gun, and just so happens to be the unicorn, right? I've got the original Norinco Bakelite side folder. And while I love it, not just because of what it is, but it came from my dad. We traded. I traded him a Yugo gun for it. Actually, it's what he wanted. And a lot of you guys know how much I love Zastava guns. I love them. And there's many guns right up there. You guys have seen my top 3 AKs, whatever. I don't think I ever finished it with my final choice. But there's just, that's a super hard question, right? And it wouldn't be a Chinese gun. While I think they're good guns, heavier receivers, all of that, even their milled guns that everybody holds so highly, I don't know. They just don't turn me on. Don't care for them. Yugoslavian guns, love them. And for durability and just everything, they're way up there. Bulgarian guns, Sam 7s, Sam 5s, all the milled guns. I love them, love shooting them, but they're not up there either. I don't care for milled guns really. Stamped guns to me, I like much better. They're, to me, the quintessential, right? So that takes a lot out of the running there. I love Russian guns. I love Vepers. I love Bulgarian stamp guns, 107 FRs to be specific. There's Madis, there's all kinds of stuff out there. There's Polish guns, everything. There's even AKs from Finland, right? You could argue that there's some Israeli choices too. But if I had to pick one gun, it would be either a Russian Sega, 7.62 by 39 for sure, side folder. If I had to keep it a basically stock condition, I would take either a polymer stock or a triangle stock. But I think I'd take the 107 FR Arsenal with either of those stocks, and then I would do the Krebs thing, which I have. My Krebs rifle is the 107 FR is the base. It's been shortened, welded, and pinned. I would change that out, and I still may have him do it, where we install his system where you can change. Well, let me think about this one. Yeah, it doesn't have it. I'd have him change it to where I can run either his flash hider or compensator or brake or can. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk to Mark about doing that to my Krebs rifle. But that's my favorite rifle. Now, I currently have it set up with all Zenitco furniture and stock and whatnot. And I would ditch all that. For those of you guys that love Zenitco stuff, I think most of you like it because it's that alpha thing, right? And it's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's a matter of fact, I have a pretty rare set of Zenitco. It actually has AKOU logos on it when Rob Ski was selling Zenitco stuff way back. But I'm taking it off of there, and I have that original Zenitco stock, the full quad rail handguard and everything. But that stuff weighs an absolute ton. So I'm going to shit can it. And the Krebs rifle is going to go back to a triangle stock on it. And if he will do his muzzle system on there, that would make it absolutely perfect. It's just quite a rifle. Quite a rifle. I love it. There's no better in the world, in my opinion, than that gun. And Krebs just took it and made it sorry about that. Made it absolutely perfect. I would consider a Krink, perhaps. Or I'll tell you what really, as far as length and sort of pattern, I think a standard Romanian Draco with a fixed, what stock? I don't know. Gotta think about it. But a standard Draco with maybe a triangle stock or even just a polymer stock, something along those lines, would be a fabulous rifle too. One that I also hold up in high regard, that's got to be right up there with both of those, would be an IWI Ace, Galil Ace, first gen. Maybe in 5.56, maybe, but certainly 7.62 by 39. Those Aces, Gen 1, man, I got to get my hands on one. I got a Gen 2, but I want a Gen 1 rifle, and that will definitely be one of my favorites. So that's what I would do. Let's see. The bluing rusts easy on Chinese guns. Yes, it does. And that I was actually going to say that part of my reason for picking it is while the bluing can be extremely pretty and more blue than most, it's just so thin. You can almost rub it off with your fingers in some cases, and it's just so thin. It's just, I can't believe how thin, actually. You gotta be very careful with them. CNC Warrior folder, yeah, nice choice. That's what I got on my Arsenal Sam 7 Shorty. Optic sling and Ranger bands to hold the flashlight. So optic, I do love my Primary Arms ACSS reticle 1x6. I love that scope. Fabulous. And if I could only have one, oh God, it's hard. Because I do love either an EOTech or a Holosun 510C. Maybe a quick release. Well, could set two up. Could take an RS Regulate with either one of the EOTech or the Holosun. And then have the, matter of fact, I did that with the Krebs rifle. I have my 1x6 variable power optic on one RS Regulate, and I have a red dot on another. And because they go right back to zero, I can run both. Just take one side rail mount off, put the other one on. So yeah, that's what I'd do. And I'd run them with the Magpul QD slings, and no light. No light. Don't want to run a light. I need a Mahdi for Red Dawn LARP someday. Yeah, they didn't have, when they did that movie, the word is that they didn't have anything resembling the current Russian guns. So they took a bunch and made them look like it for the movie. But you can tell if you look up real close. Love my Japanese SKB over under 12 gauge. Doves here in Texas got no chance. Come every September. You know what? We were talking about dove hunting the other day. I've never been dove hunting. And I know down in Texas, Mexico, South America, that it's huge and there's huge numbers of them. That'd be a nice guy trip to go dove hunting, or to throw in with a Texas deer hunt, maybe. I don't know. And just have a day of just shooting. I don't know how many you can take in dove season. Can you do like 50 a day or something? But sounds like so much fun. It'd be a blast. Love to do that. I haven't spent much time in Texas at all. We've raced down there sometimes, but it was in and out, kind of thing. And I'd really like to spend more time down there. Certainly not on the Gulf Coast because the humidity I can't take. Hey, so you guys think the new Zasava M72 RPK is going to be any good? What kind of question is that, Marcus? I'm teasing. Here. Zastava, first of all, their, what is it this year? 170th anniversary. And granted, they are not owned by the government per se, but they have been a military arms manufacturer for 170 years. They've made God knows how many platforms of rifles and everything else. And the M70, that particular platform, has been used by more armies in more conflicts in more places around the world than any other weapon on the planet. People think there's more Russian AKs, there's more Chinese AKs, there's more Yugoslavian. That's how we do it here. We call them Yugos. We don't talk about Serbia and all that. It's not political. It's just how we know them as Yugo. There's more Yugo M70s been used around the world in more conflicts by more people than any other AK platform rifle in the world. Period. They build fabulous rifles, and that M72 will be just fine. I think Misha said it best when talking about ZPAPs and whatever. Sure, every manufacturer has a lemon here and there, whatever, or a couple. Maybe you hear about 5 on some forum somewhere or something, and you think, oh, it's got all these problems, this and that. Let me tell you something. With the amount of guns they produce, pick your variant, there is no problem. It's non-existent. It's way less than 0.1% of anything. There is no problem. Yeah, there's always going to be stuff that's squeaks out. Otherwise, you wouldn't need armors. You wouldn't need, things happen. Maybe a batch of whatever goes through the heat treating oven and comes out too quick, whatever. It happens. But think about it. If you have 1,000 rifles that have a problem, it's nothing. It's nothing. It doesn't mean they're all junk or, boy, is this Stava's slipping, or this is wrong or that's wrong. No. And first of all, there's never that many that have a problem. The funny thing is that whenever you hear about a problem on a forum, in chats, in whatever, one guy starts it. My rifle, this, my barrel exploded, my bolt exploded, my fucking tail is getting smashed, my trigger sucks, my stock came loose, my this, my that. And then everybody jumps on board, right? Mine too, and my friend has this that happened to too, and my friend's cousin heard. It's all bullshit. It literally is bullshit. It's a friend of a friend. Hell, half the people saying what they have are probably full of it. I'm not saying I'm the biggest collector out there by no means, not even close. But compared to the average, I've had and have ridiculous amounts of AKs from every manufacturer, every country, all over. Sometimes I have more of this, less of that, whatever. Do you know how many guns with serious problems I've had? AK in any platform, any country, you know how many I've had? Where I can truly say, man, this thing had a serious problem, and what am I going to do? Or I got to send it back, or oh, that's unacceptable, or whatever. You know how many I've had? First of all, I've had zero where they wouldn't function, zero where I had a functionality problem that wasn't fixed or addressed by 2 minutes worth of something, an adjustment or a mag, different mag or whatever. You know how many AKs I've had that wouldn't run brown bear, silver bear, this, that, the other? None. They've all run everything. You know how many soft bolts or bolt carriers I've had? Zero. Tail squash? Yeah, I've had some. Mostly back in the day with Tapco G2s. They all get a little here and there. They stop. You know how many barrels I've had come loose, or you know, pins you could push out or whatever? None. Zero. Christ, malfunctions of all hundreds of them, hundreds of AKs. I could probably say in all these years, I don't even know. So few, I can't even think of the malfunctions. Serious problems? About the most serious issue I ever had was with an Arsenal 107R. So that's a 107 with a fixed stock and a side rail. And I bought it basically new in the box, but from a private party. And I believe he got the gun, bought it. And when he got it, he looked it over and said, I'm not happy with it. I'm going to sell it. And I bought it. And I did it without just seeing pictures. And the front sight was canted. Not crazy, certainly within spec, but enough that it bugged me. And what else was wrong with that gun? Let me think for a second here. Was that it? There was one other minor thing. I pushed the sight block pins out and moved it to where it was straight, re-drilled the holes and put oversized pins in, and was done. And I could have sent it back, I guess, or whatever, but that was it. And keep in mind, I'm including Century-built kit guns in this, early Wassers, you name it. I can legitimately say that there hasn't been one gun that I needed to send back or anything. And we're even talking about my Sam 5 that you watch, where I started out thinking there's problems with it. And there may be still. I just haven't had the time to finish this whole testing up on it. But even that, it still hasn't worried me enough to send it back yet. I had Arsenal contact me right here in this chat one night, give me his number, his email, everything, and I just didn't have the time to call him and talk about it. But maybe I will, maybe I won't. I think at the end of the day now that the gun's going to be just fine, I think. See? So the stuff you hear in some of these chats and everything, it's just non-existent. I do believe some of the problems that have been had with Century guns in the past, certainly IO, but keep in mind, those were guns built here by importers from kits. And that even being said, many of those importers got a lot of things right too. But as far as guns from import guns from a arsenal or military factory or factory that supplies militaries, nope, not a one. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying that it's so small and infinitesimal that you can't even legitimize it, really. And if there is, it's a tiny small batch. Send it back. They'll take care of it and get on with it. The dragging on about some of this stuff is just nuts. Absolutely nuts. Half of what you hear, I would say, is bullshit. Half is overblown by maybe some guys that just aren't familiar with the platform and think it should be as perfect as their whatever. It's not the case, but anyhow. Dale Concha. Hi, Chris. Just popped on here. Hey, how are you, man? Thank you for stopping in. Good to see you. K, only problem 8K I've had was the Century Polish Tantel 545. Trim the rails down a hair, and it's slicker than goose shit. Yeah. Yeah. So that happens. Matter of fact, I had only one out of probably 10 or 15 Century M70 AB2s. At one point, I've told the story. I'm not going to tell it again, but I took to collecting Century M70 AB2s. Wanted every member of my family to have one, for their shit get gun. And those are fabulous rifles. Century, it's one thing that Century did absolutely fabulous. I have one with, I lost count at like 11,000 rounds. It's by far the smoothest gun I own, smoother than factory Zastavas. But I did have one that I bought. God, I wish I'd done a video on it. I got it on Gunbroker for dirt. Nobody would bid on it because it was rattle canned, had a bunch of rope and electrical tape around the stock, and a little rust coming out from under that. And it was painted, and the paint was worn, and the magazine had a Texas star painted on it, like the Texas flag. And it looked like it was beat to hell, and nobody bid on it. And I got the thing for like, I don't know, $100 or something. Got it home, disassembled it, threw it in a pan of paint stripper, let it sit and bubble up. Got all the paint and stripper off. Hit it with a power washer just to neutralize everything. Then threw it in a pan of gun solvent and wiped it all down. Put it together, oiled it up, and the gun looked brand new. Not a mark on it. The only thing was it didn't, the rails were needed to be trimmed a little bit. It would drag, the bolt would drag, and it was causing some other issues with feeding. And again, a Century gun, or meaning a kit gun put together by a U.S. company. The other stuff, you just don't see it. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It's just so small that they're allowed a few. Lemons are lemons. And because you hear of two, doesn't equate to anything. It's not even worth talking about. But somebody will post a thread starting with, does anybody else have a problem with, or my blah, blah, blah does blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden it's an 11-page thread all about this and that and hardness. And I bet they did that and they changed this. Or, oh, remember the one about they're not using military grade parts, they're using civilian grade parts mixed in with that. What a crock of shit. Do you know what it would cost them to have this part here, military grade, and this part here, some other grade, or seconds or whatever? It doesn't happen, guys. They run them down the line and blam. The only thing that changes is where they drill the or don't drill the hole in the fire control group. That's it. I can tell you from experience to young guys out there, guys just getting into it, even guys been around for a while, it doesn't exist. Get over it. Don't pay attention to it. Breeze right on by. If anything, sometimes it's for drama and clickbait. I don't know. I have a beautiful M48 made by them and a nice 5966. Yep. I've got my 5966 SKS, right? Yeah, it's funny. A lot of guys just refer to them as the Yugo SKS. Other guys use the 5966. I always kind of forget the numbers on that, but I think were there two versions of the Yugo SKS? Was there a 5966 and then another one? The 5966 was SKS with the ladder grenade launcher sight, the switch for the gas valve, and the folding bayonet, right? That was the only model, right? Or was there another one? I don't know. I have M70AB2 and ZPAP's entire lifetimes apart in age, both of equal quality. Me too. So I told you, if you were here in the beginning, my M70AB2 Century gun was the first AK I ever owned. Still have it. Still shoot it a ton. I told you I lost count at 11,000 rounds. It's the smoothest gun I own. It's fabulous. I've had NPAPs, OPAPs. I've had ZPAPs, fixed stock, now the underfolder. You name it, I've had it if it came out as a Zastava or if someone put a Zastava kit together. And every one of them have been absolutely fabulous. If you watch my latest underfolder review on the ZPAP underfolder, I mentioned the gas block and the quality of the finish. So my ZPAP, or I'm sorry, my NPAP that I'm looking at right now, the gas block is a piece of art. The bluing slash parkerizing on it is fabulous and deep, and the part is extremely polished and just well done. No machine marks, nothing. And I said about the new underfolder that it's not the same. They did change the lines of the gas block a little, the angles on it. And on closer inspection, it almost seems like maybe it's the same gas block, just whoever was doing the polishing or a little grinding on the part that day before it went into finishing, just did a little more than usual, maybe change the angle a hair. I don't know. But when I compared the finish on that to on the ZPAP underfolder to my NPAP, it's not all that different. I think most of what I'm seeing is just honest use, where it's not worn, but it's slightly polished just from hands and use and being slung and whatever, setting it down, putting it on a bench, cleaning, whatever. I think that's the only difference, really. Like I said about NPAPs, people got down on those because of one problem Rob Ski had, and there is no problem with them. There's another gun that's got 10,000 rounds through it. Because I made that gun at the time, NPAPs were dirt cheap. And even I had a chance one day to buy a brand new underfolder from Fleet Farm. They weren't getting any more. It was the end of them, and they had 2 left, and they were like $450 or something. And I passed. I couldn't. It was out of my way that day. I was tired, and I didn't want to stop. When I went the next day, they were gone. Anyways, NPAPs were cheap, and I bought it because at the time I was buying Vepers and all kinds of expensive stuff that right away started gaining huge value. And while I wanted to shoot it a lot and be my go-to rifles, I thought better of it. And I made my truck gun, range gun that goes everywhere with me out of an NPAP. I thought, what can I buy that's solid, that I know works great, that I know will hold up? I can change up anything I want on it, and who gives a shit about the value or what it's going to do to it? And I can put as many rounds through it as I want till I've got a smooth bore, and it won't matter at the end of the day if I got to cut it up and chuck it in a fire because it's worn out. And that was the NPAP. And it's perfect, like the day it was made. Even the rifling is still strong. Yeah, you compare it to a new one, you see some wear on the rifling, but after that many rounds, I would expect a little bit. It's still accurate as anything. It gets banged around, tossed around. Right now, it's got a primary arms 3-power prism scope on it with the ACSS reticle, and I could tomorrow morning step outside my motorhome and put 5 rounds in 3 inches at 200 yards. No problem. And it just keeps going and going. The Blue Wing holds up fabulous. I'm looking this way, guys, because I'm looking at it right now. It's sitting here. It's got a TDI arms, aluminum, billet aluminum M-lock handguard on it with a Kyber custom cheese grater on it. It's got the strings, or the not string silencers, the sling silencers that I make, that I braid out of paracord on it. It's got a Meridian Defense BD2 muzzle brake on it that I absolutely love. That gun doesn't move. Go watch any video on where I'm shooting that gun, and it doesn't move. Does not move. It's got a RS Regulate full length Picatinny rail side mount on it with that primary arms 3-power prism. It's got a Magpul K-grip, and it's got a Fab Defense core stock on it with a cheek riser with an M4 adapter from Rifle Dynamics. And it's got a not an ultimate trigger, but the regular AKL trigger. And a Bulgarian waffle mag in it. And what else? Anything else? Oh, a Krebs safety. And that's it. And really, I guess that's my perfect rifle because it goes with me everywhere. I don't worry about it. I don't wipe it off. I don't clean it much. I don't worry if it gets wet. I don't worry if it gets dirty, scratched. It's had 3 different paint jobs on it, and right now it's back to all blue. And you could never tell it was ever painted, even though I've used stripper on it every time. Um, it's just a fabulous gun. Nope, the receiver hasn't cracked. Nothing's. Oh, it does have a on top of the ALG trigger. It's got an ALG spring in it. And I only did that because after the Rob Ski video, I thought, So I put that in it. Tell you the truth, it ran better without it. Not that it ran worse, just that spring is it's strong enough that on recoil, as the bolt carrier comes forward and brings another round into battery, it comes forward so hard the gun almost dips. It goes away somewhat after you've run it a while, but Yugo springs, whether they were in a kit and God knows how many rounds they had through them, or in a new gun, were I shouldn't use notoriously, but notoriously soft or weaker. Now, here's one could say actually came from the factory with a problem. And I'm trying to think how it manifested. That's the problem with going this far back with AKs. You forget how certain things happened, and I never want to give you guys a line of shit or tell you something that's not correct. But I forget how I noticed it. I think it had something to do with either, when you push the button in to release the top cover, either it wasn't locking in right, or, oh no, maybe the bolt wouldn't stay up in battery. It would like flop a little right there. And I thought, oh my God, did the headspace change on this thing or something, And I'm looking and everything's fine. The gun was almost new at that point. Maybe it had 3,000 rounds through it. And I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with this thing? And I'm cleaning it one day and I'm like, that's weird. I'm looking at the recoil spring, the whole mechanism. And it's just like looser than all my other ones. And I'm like, this is weird. So I take the loops apart and I got the spring. And I took a spring out of my M70 AB2 and threw it in that end cap, and everything's fine. It's holding the bolt all the way forward, everything. So I take that spring apart and I lay the springs on the workbench. And the one that came in the end cap was shorter, significantly, like half an inch or a little more. And I went, how in the hell is that possible? And it hadn't been clipped or cut. The gun was new. I actually bought it secondhand, but it was new in the box, and it was truly new in the box. Maybe a mag fired through it. Nothing was worn, no bluing, the rails, everything. I thought, how the heck did this happen? Did somebody clip it? Did somebody that? Nope, everything was fine. Just the spring was a little bit short enough that it held enough pressure to keep everything together on it, but that bolt wouldn't stay all the way forward. That was a true issue with the gun, but that's actually, I had been thinking about the ALG springs, and at that point, I just bought an ALG spring and threw it in there, and that was that. But I still have that spring. I'll have to, when we're done here at the homestead and I moved in and I've got all my benches put together, I'll pull that part out. I don't know if you guys do this. I do, but any part that I either remove from a gun, unless it's broken. Usually I throw out broken parts. But if I change something out, whether it's a safety, a grip, a foregrip, a muzzle device, a trigger, or whatever, I bag it up in a Ziploc bag and I write with Sharpie on it what it came out of, what it is, the serial number of the gun, and all that, and I save it all. Because if you're ever going to change it up or put it back to stock because suddenly it's worth 4 times what you paid, yeah. So I still have that spring, and yeah, it might be fun to go back and look at that and show you guys and see what actually happened. Maybe a couple other sets of eyes, and I think it was just a factory screw up. That's all I think. But or maybe it didn't hold its temper or whatever, and it sacked it out right away. That's probably what happened, I'm thinking. Because it ran fine at first. I wouldn't have shot it, obviously, if the bolt was flopping around. But yeah, I'll bet you that's what happened. But yeah, and here we are, new spring and 10,000, 8,000 rounds after that. And it's just fine. Who knows, right? Nobody else would come in and say what their perfect AK is. Let's go back a little bit here and look at comments. Kay's going to town, man. We left off at the bluing, Madi for the Red Dawn LARPing, the SKB shotguns, M72 RPK. Yes, of course it's going to be good. 100%. I'd have to go with my Zastava M77, which has the Arkin 6x. How do you like that Arkin? You like it? A good buddy of mine has one on an AR, and they're bulky. You know, the bells on them seem bulky, but boy, they are crystal clear, and he likes it. I've heard good things about it. I thought about grabbing one. He was buying them. He'd find these crazy low prices on them, and he kept saying, "Hey, you should buy one. You should buy one." At the time, I didn't have the dough to lay out for it. What I should have done is called them, because at the time they were sending them out to YouTubers like candy. Maybe they still would. I don't know. Good to 600 with good ammo. Huh, cool. Yeah, and that 6x24 is perfect, isn't it? I'd like to put that on my Savage 308. That'd be nice. I have a beautiful M48. Yeah, we talked about the M70AB2 and Z-Paps entire. Yep. Only problem AK I ever had was Century Polish Tantel. Yep, I had the same problem with, not with a Tantel, but the M70AB2 on one of them. What's your favorite barrel length on AK? Actually, I love my Krebs gun, which is 14 and a half, welded and pinned. I love that. But I would do a 13-inch on an Ace, no problem. That'd be cool. So Dale's in here. We said that. I miss my Yugo SK, was my first SKS. Yeah, they're great guns with the beechwood and everything. Yeah, I got a video in here. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. And it's called what is it? Unbubbifying my SKS, or Bubba got a hold of this one, or something. I forget what. But when I bought, I told you it was after I got done with Mosin Nagants and cornering the market on them. I know that's not possible, but I got into the SKSs, right? And the first thing I had to do was what? I had to go get me a Tapco conversion kit with the stock and all that. You guys have seen them, right? I forget what they called them, what the name of the kit, Interfuse, maybe, Intrafuse kit. And you took your SKS out of the stock, the wood stock, and you dropped it in this black polymer stock, and you had to specify whether you had a blade bayonet or a whatchamacallit, the spike bayonet. And it had an M4 like adjustable stock, and you took the bottom plate essentially out of it, and it took special Tapco mags that were sort of rock and lock. You hooked the front end and clipped them in. They made 20 rounders for it. And yeah, it was quite the sight. And the top handguard or the dust cover, top cover, not top cover, but the top foregrip cover or gas tube cover. That's the word I was looking for, Jesus. Had a pick rail on the top so you could do like a scout mount or just a red dot, whatever. And it had the saw style pistol grip on it. And man, I thought I was the coolest thing in the world. But with that long grenade launching spigot on the front and the spike bayonet and all, the thing was like a mile long, you know. And I had that on it for years. And actually, I should have shot it more like that. But the problem was you bought that kit, and then you could buy a Tapco gas tube with it. And if that gas tube, for some reason, didn't work well with your piston, like the tolerances were off a little, mine wouldn't cycle. And it ran fine with the stock one. So I didn't want to remove the stock gas tube from the wood handguard. So I bought a Tapco gas tube already installed in the Tapco top cover, and it was too big. It wouldn't run. What I think happened, actually, you had to file the end so you could close the latch to hold the gas tube on, just like an AK. And I think I did one or two swipes too many on to file it down so you could close it. So it moved just enough, a tiny, tiny bit, and it would leak gas and wouldn't run, because I remember I put an O-ring up in there and put it on, and it ran a mag just fine, but eventually would blow the O-ring out. And being young and broke, I didn't have enough money to buy another gas tube or whatever that I had screwed up. So I finally took the gas tube out of the wood handguard. I risked cracking it. That's why I didn't want to do it. It was basically a pin that was peened over, and I just didn't want to screw up that, so I could put it back to stock. But I knocked the pin out, put the factory Zastava gas tube in the Tapco set, and it ran just fine. But at that point, I was way over it and never shot it much. I almost feel like putting it back in it just to do a video and see how it would run. Anyways, it's back. I did a video of unbubbifying that rifle, and you get to see my acting debut in there, because I play a hillbilly in that one. And yeah, it's kind of funny. But that beach stock, when you throw a little boiled linseed oil on it or blow, really makes that stock pop. And it's such a nice rifle stock. Why would you want to screw it up, you know? Yeah, nice rifle. And they were dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. In today's market, would you choose an M70 or WPP jack? I would take the M70. Well, personally, me right now, I'd probably do the WBP jack, because I don't have any Polish rifles, none, and I really need to get one. But the jack wouldn't be my first choice. I heard the new Baolug M70 and underfolders are American made. Doesn't make a ton of sense, but could explain slight variance. No, they're not. Um, while the bayonet lug, I believe, is done here, I have not confirmed if that whole gas block is. And I said something about it in my video, and I hope that me saying that didn't get out to a bunch of people and all of a sudden everybody's repeating it, because it hasn't been confirmed, or at least I haven't confirmed it. I do know that they did machine the Baolug, but I don't think they made the gas block. Could be, but I don't think so. They're still made in Serbia. Only U.S. parts are minimal for that. Yeah, and that's not one of them, because that's the reason they didn't do the. That's why they didn't give you the Yugo mag with it. So on the fixed stock, you got the Yugo mag except for the base plate of it, I think. But when you go to an underfolder, you can't count the stock as an American-made part, because there isn't a polymer wood stock made in the U.S. to throw on it. You've got the underfolder that obviously comes done from Serbia. So you got to find other ways, other parts to replace to meet 922R. And that's one why you didn't get the Serbian mag. And that more than meets the stock difference, because a mag is considered 3 parts, I believe. So they wouldn't have to do the gas block. And trust me, they wouldn't if they didn't have to. While I believe they wanted to, the reason they did the Baolug is people were asking for it. And, you know, Zastava is great that way in answering what people want for a rifle. That's why the original Z-Paps were essentially N-Paps, didn't have bulged trunnions. Original Z-Paps didn't have chrome lined barrels. First they added the bulged trunnions, then they added the chrome lined barrel, then they added the Baolug now, you know. So they listen to people. But I don't believe, I could be wrong, but I don't believe that's a USA made part. Anyhow. Turning guns, I want some spring. Me too. We had it. It was here. Man, it was 75 degrees in Wisconsin. All our 2 feet of snow went away, and I had a flood briefly, but it was all dried out and perfect. And then we got pounded, I mean pounded, by 2 inches of rain in like 8 hours or less. And now my road is got an 80-foot long lake in the middle of it, 1.5 feet deep. And everything around me is, I'm living in mud, literally. I have shoes I take off at the door and shoes I put on inside. And the dogs come in and out. I got to stop them, wipe their feet. And even then, it's just mud. And they jump right up on the couch or right up on the bed on the blankets we have. So I got to do laundry like 8 times a week, vacuum 3 times a day. Yeah, it sucks. I'm living in the middle of a muddy farm field mush, and I'm getting sick of it. But hopefully we only have 3 months to go, and it's over. We'll be in our brand new house, and then I can really get down to doing all the homestead stuff we're doing. Our road is in. We'll have to put a top coat of stone on it when we're done. I got to put some paths in. I've already brushed out one of the ranges. We're going to have 2 more. Got to get shooting benches built. I got to plant some food plots for the deer. There's a lot of trees I want to clean up in the woods. All kinds of stuff, all kinds of projects. gardens, animals. Like I said, I've got a 75-yard range done, but I want to put 2 more in. There's so many projects. We're going to bring them all to you, and then we're going to have a little get together here, sort of like the 2A EDU shoot here. But in June we'll be in. Then we got to get the barn up, hopefully still this summer. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Forgotten Weapons just did an episode on the SKS. Oh, cool. I haven't watched any of his stuff in a while. It's, you know what? You know how people say, well, their YouTube isn't putting this video in the feed or that video. Well, I know it's true because I've seen it happen to my analytics. I've watched it, you know, being like a shooting star going up and then just, whoom, you know, that kind of thing. But I can honestly tell you, the biggest of the big gun channels, like Iraq Veteran, doesn't show up in my feed anymore at all. Forgotten Weapons doesn't show up. Military Arms channel doesn't show up. Rob Ski doesn't show up. They all went away. I don't get them in my feed. Now, if I go to subscriptions in there and look, they're there. But they just don't show up in my feed. None of them. Not one. Yeah, everything went away. Who else? All the channels I watched, they don't show up anymore. I'm going to have to go in. I'm going to specifically, when I watch other stuff, I'm going to watch it on a different sign in. And I'm going to go back to just nothing but that and see if it changes. See if it was me changing the algorithm or them. We'll find out. Now they'll change it. But we'll see. Anyhow, man, we've been on 2 hours and 40 minutes. Holy cow. 20 rounders are hot right now. Not in an SKS, though. Lots of 20 rounders, tanker mags, man. I got barrels full of that shit. I'm telling you, you guys needed to be around 20 years ago when it was all pennies. I'm not kidding you. Barrels full of Bakelite. They'd give them away. Nobody wanted them. Guys that have been here a long time know, because I've said it 100 times, but Century cut off and sanded off more dong handguards than there are in existence today. Nobody would buy a gun with a dong handguard. Nobody. So Century just zipped them all off. Got rid of them. Destroyed them all. And now how much do they go for? Holy shit. I could probably retire just selling my dong handguards. Yeah, because some guys don't believe it, but it was that crazy. Turning guns, I have the mullet, but I don't like the look. I watched your live stream and you convinced me to buy it. What was that? Uh-oh, let's go back. Okay, I heard the new Bela. They're still Mansoria. Turning guns, hey, I want some spring go boing. I bag and tag triggers and pistons, yep. Vepper, slant brake. I just picked up the new underfolders of Stava. Me too. Or a mullet. I gotta say, I think of all the AKs out there, probably the finest as far as fit, finish, just solidness of build, everything. Vepper, man, by far. And because most guys, unless they bought one secondary market, most guys around today that weren't into AKs 20 years ago probably have not shot a true Russian gun like a Sega. Maybe you have, but nowadays the prices are so crazy that most guys, unless they're specifically saving, like I got to get me one, have never shot one. And it sort of made me a true believer that when you compare all the different AKs variants from all these countries, yeah, there's all sort of alike. You know, Yugo's a little different, this, that, the other. There is something to be said for Russian AK pattern rifles, AKMs, what have you, being some guys say, oh, they're the best, they're the original, there's the this, that. Yeah, okay. I will tell you this. They do feel different, way different. The Vepr does, for sure. And guys, well, that's because it's the RPK receiver, heavy barrel, this, that. Keep in mind, guys, I shoot tons and tons of Yugo guns, all with the same heavier barrels, heavier receivers, yada, yada, yada. Those guns, either it's the guys putting them together or, you know, whatever they're doing, their little tricks as they're fitting everything. They just, the way they feel and run and the impulse of everything, they feel different. To me, they feel like an AK should feel. Could be in my head, maybe. I don't know. But anybody catches me at a shoot somewhere or something and I got a Vepr with me, I'd love to have you do it side by side and tell me you don't feel a difference. I don't know, something about it. One of my favorites. I told you I love that 107 FR, but man, that Vepr, God, it's a great gun. Fabulous. And I still up in the air whether the side folder or the fixed stock. I just wish I could figure out a way to have a cleaning rod in there, because that's the only thing I don't like about the look. But we're going to do a lot of Vepr shooting this summer. I'm over the value thing. I'm never going to sell them anyway, so what does it matter? We're gonna have some Vepr fun. They need to be shot. Rob Ski will tell you his favorite AK of all time is a Vepr in 545. Favorite gun. And Mark Krebs will tell you. You know what his favorite gun is? An RPK, a Mollet Vepr RPK in 545. And in his case, he's an SOT. So in full auto, he said, you have never shot and truly enjoyed an AK until you've shot a Mollet RPK full auto in 545. He said, just an absolute stunning weapon is his words. And I said, well, I'm going to have to take you up on that one day. He said, anytime. So one of these days, got to do that with him. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that being, man, 40 rounders, huh? Yahoo. It's another thing. Maybe I'm just missing all my stuff because everything's in storage locked away, and I haven't been able to get to it since last June or July now. Maybe I'm just jonesing to get stuff out and shoot anything, but shooting my RPKs sounds like a ton of fun right now. Love it. AES 10B and my Romanian paratrooper Two Rivers build. I want to get them out and have some fun. So much fun. Like 300, I missed my, like 300 different ones. I literally have everything. Probably true. You too? You have a hard time deciding, right? Just need the auto SKS, Serb. I can't remember. Forgotten weapons. I'm going to have to go watch that. SKS will dump at least 1,200 rounds per minute for sure. Just saying from experience, probably closer. What? You kidding me? No shit. Oh, what did I do to my screen? Oh, I know what you're going to say. Drew in Oregon. Duh. I know what he's going to say right now about those pins. Hold on. My screen just went berserk and made it ginormous. And now I can't get it back to the right size. Come on. This is such shit when this happens. That's what I get for not having a mouse. Okay. Come on. God damn it. Why won't it go? Hold on. Guys, I'm just having technical difficulties here. I feel like a true old man here. I can't get my screen size back to normal. Why do I got to? That ain't the zoom I'm looking for. What the fuck happened here? Excuse my language. Holy cow, now what? Now what happened? There we go. Semi back to normal. Now we got to get the rest of it. I literally can't see anything because it's so big here. Great. Now what? Like a moron here. There we go. Finally. Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's see what he has to say here. God damn it. Close. There we go. Okay. Where did I see it? News to Stava. I noticed that the trigger pins are a little loose. I have not shot it yet. Okay. You sure about that? Because it's one of the things I always look at, because it used to be a complaint way back when that they were a little undersized either, and I don't remember anymore whether the receivers were drilled a little over or the pins were small, but if I remember correctly, it was always on Century built guns, and guys would complain about them egging out the holes. And one of my M70 AB2s, they're a little loose, and the trick to it was just to order a new surplus set of Hugo pins and be done. It was fine. Which actually I need to get a set or find a set laying around somewhere or whatever, because I've got one that they are loose in, but I have not noticed it in any of the factories of Stava guns, including my fixed stack ZPAP, my underfolder ZPAP, my NPAP, none of them. They've all been fine, so I'm surprised. Not saying it can't be, certainly could be. And are you saying loose as far as pin diameter, or are you saying they're moving side to side because of maybe the plate or the groove is wide or something? I'm betting you're talking because of diameter. I think there is 200 different AKs, probably. I got a Hungarian brand new in the box. I got to bring you guys a video on in early pre-ban that I acquired not all that too long ago, and have not. I don't even think I've shot it yet. So I have to bring you one on that. There's some guns that kind of go uncelebrated, you know. Very high quality guns, especially these pre-bans. And they'd be around from time to time. Century would bring some in. Is even, I don't know, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, I remember seeing some at a local gun shop. But this is a pre-ban. I forget the importer. It's the one that they all say, oh, that's the one you want from this importer. Sort of blondish wood, real nice. Very, 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 very nice. So we'll have to get that one out. I forgot about that. Slant brake fan, me too. So I, Go back, look at all my videos. I still think, you know, guys will do all kinds of crazy breaks, whether they're, you know, Chinesium knockoffs or anything. You always saw the break reviews. We've taken the top 10 breaks here, and we're going to show you what's the best and the least, and the da 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 da. You know, half of them are blowing the guy next to you all to hell. Others are putting so much gas in. It should be pushing gas out to the either to the side or on an angle, right? Some of them are blowing it right back in your face. Everything for the money, which essentially it's free, right? Because other than Vepers and, well, there's a bunch, but other than those that come with barrel nuts, how do you beat a slant brake? How do you beat it? It's, first of all, most are adjustable for right or left-handers if they've got the two notches in them. And who knows best? Those Russians sat and watched that thing through development, through testing, through everything, and they watched. And they got the angles just right and everything, and they put the one on there that held it right. And that's what it does. It pushes it down and to the left, right? Unless you got it in the lefty position, then it's going down and to the right. But they work fabulous. They don't cost you anything, and they work great. Do they work as great as a full brake? No, but they're not meant to do that. You know, they're meant just to keep the barrel down, not necessarily recoil. But yeah, they're great. You know, if the awesome power of the 7.62 by 39 is bothering your shoulder, perhaps you should move over to the incredible power of the 223. That was Clint Smith did that. He was the guy that said that. He's talking about muzzle brakes at his classes, and he said if you really need to tame the awesome power of the 223 cartridge. This is funny. You got to hear him say it. I love that voice. Might be a futile effort, but every channel I sub to where it's something I know YouTube does not like, I always like and leave a comment. Yeah, and I don't do that very often because I kind of stay out of things. Anyhow, mud season here in Maine too. Wicked. Yeah, but you know what? Maine is the East Coast version of Wisconsin, really. I've never been there. I would love to go. I think it's Wisconsin, but better. Well, in some respects. It's Wisconsin as far as north. I love the season change. I love the snow. I like cold weather better than I do hot weather. Once it's over 75 and the humidity's up there, I'm done. 80, 85 and warmer, even at 80 and humid, I'm done. I can't stand it. Get me inside in the air conditioning, forget it. Can't stand it. But Maine is cool that you got all the pines like we do in northern Wisconsin here, and lakes and deer, and, well, we don't have a lot of moose. In the very upper west side of Wisconsin, next to Minnesota, there are some. But typically where you have large whitetail populations, you do not have any moose population to speak of. And the reason being, there's a certain brain worm that whitetails carry that doesn't bother the whitetails at all, but kills the moose. They get that worm and it just kills them. So you'll never see large moose populations wherever you have a lot of whitetails. But Maine's got a lot of moose from what I understand. And I think your whitetail herds are not that strong. If I'm wrong, let me know, but that's what I've heard at least. But the thing that Maine has is I can enjoy everything I love about Wisconsin, except I can drive over the coast and get lobster. How you man, it don't get better than that. Well, we got walleye and all that stuff and Wisconsin fish fry, yeah, don't you know? But I'm not a big fish eater, but I love shellfish. Yeah, you put me at a shellfish buffet, I won't leave. Between crab, lobster, shrimp, oysters, clams, scallops, you name it. Oh, that's my favorite. I'd live on it. If you could promise me I wouldn't get iodine poisoning and I could eat all I wanted, yep, that's me. And that used to be considered garbage food, right? Actually, the original folks that came to this country, the Pilgrims, if you want to call them that, they considered it like garbage food, right? Probably because of their conservative religious views, and the Bible saying not to eat whatever. They looked at it as probably like we look at eating carp or something like that. I don't know. At least that's what I'm told. I'm going to skip these ads because some of you guys will be getting ads very soon here. So I'm going to skip them for you, give you a break. How's that sound? Nobody knows I'm an AK whore, by the way. No. FKN 1994, 200 each. Get a whole crate. Ammo is like what? Nothing? Yeah, pretty much. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you're making fun of me, but where are we at? 175. Those are easy. Shotgun news. Love it. Love it. I got to get a few old copies of it just to look through. It's so much fun. Best scope for the money. I also have their EP8 and the Zulius HD 5x20 day-night digital. No shit. What'd they run? Oh, AK is absolutely junk to me. Wow, really? Junk, dude. I'm trying to justify an RPK to myself, but in semi-auto, yeah, you don't. It's just the neatness of the variant. That's all, with the bipod and everything. It's a fun gun to kind of see how long distance does if you can mount up a scope on it. It's kind of fun. Stupid bipod is worth more. Yeah, could be. Turning, when you pull the trigger, you can see the pin turn and its axis and attack. Yes, yeah. So they are a little loose then. I'd get another set of pins, try that, and see. You'd probably be fine. Pillbox Bunker, what do you say, man? Good to see you. How's life on the other side of the pond there? Good, I hope. Yeah, that's what I said. Maine has lobsters. Yeah, man, I hear you got little like seaside stands and stuff. That'd be awesome. Good oysters too, right? Certain times of the year. A lot of people don't know that oysters have good seasons, like you know. And I had some oysters the other day. I don't know. I've eaten all different kinds, and I've been to places that have like menus with 10 different kinds of oysters. And I ask about them, they tell you about them, and then I forget because most places just here's your oysters. But I had these oysters at I had them at Gibson's last time I can remember. Gibson's had fabulous ones, and this other place I go to and I can't remember where they're from or what they are, but they were tiny. I don't like when they're huge. Um, they get them to be like big snot balls, right? But these things were delicate, just a little salty with and a little bit of sweetness, and oh man, they were so good. Oh, my mouth's watering. I could eat 2 dozen right now. You come to Maine, I'll feed you all the lobster you can eat. You're on. That would be fabulous. My library is not to the public yet, but when it is, there will be absolutely no question. There you go, man. I'm a millionaire with shit ton. hopefully, hopefully you got a lot. Ba, 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 ba. Good. I'm glad you're doing good, Pillbox. Pillbox hosts the 2A EDU shoot every year, and we have a ton of fun out there. Ton of fun, right? Hauling all the guns back and forth and all the ammo back and forth to the parking area. We had a good time. Oh, brother. And we eat good. Yes, we do eat good. That's for damn sure. I'm starving right now. I got home, didn't have dinner. Can you tell? That's because Kay's holding on to all the lobster, man. You got to have money to eat all that lobster. Anyhow, for any of you tuning in late, you probably heard, but Brandon Herrera is going to a runoff with the incumbent. The incumbent's name is Tony Gonzalez. He's a rhino. It's the congressional challenges in Texas's 23rd district, which is on the southwestern part of the state, and it includes the border there where all the problems are. And Brandon Herrera is running for representative. He got enough votes to force a runoff with the incumbent. And that incumbent has voted for an anti-gun bill. Actually, the Republican Party sanctioned him. He was censured by them for voting off the party line on both a bill defending same-sex marriage protections and a gun bill that went through. And he's come out publicly and said he would vote for the gun bill if it comes up again. So Brandon's, came out of nowhere really and ran with small purse strings and forced the runoff. He was the number 2 vote getter out of 5. And Gonzalez got 45% of the vote. You need at least 50 to not have a runoff. Gonzalez got 45%. Brandon got 25. And the next closest was 13 or something. But between the other 3, 35% of that vote is up in the air. Not to mention whoever you can swing over from Gonzalez. But they're going to be dumping money into Gonzalez's campaign. So if you can, go over to BrandonHerreraForCongress.com or .org or whatever it is. I think it's .com. I'm not positive. And if you can afford to, throw a little money his way. We need people like this. You get it in, and it encourages other people to run in their states when they're in similar situations. You never know. And a candidate running maybe in your state next time needs a little bit of help, and it doesn't matter where you're from. God forbid, this is Texas we're talking about. Texas shouldn't be an issue, right? We shouldn't have a rhino. We shouldn't have Democrats winning office down in Texas, of all places. But then again, think about Colorado. Think about all these places. We need to take it when we can. So if you can, it's worth it. I'm going over there. I'm throwing some money his way. I have a lot of respect for the guy. He's a driven young man that sets a goal and accomplishes it. He's really impresses me. He really does. And I think he's hilariously funny. I find him highly amusing. So, yeah, head over and help him out if you can. There's a lot of good videos out there. There's a good video where the gentleman from Warrior Poet Society interviews him, and they talk about why he's running and everything. It's a great interview. Check out Warrior Poet Society too. Another great channel. A lot of things to round you out well. A lot of training, all kinds of stuff. Oh man, you redacted all those nice comments? Really? Funny, huh? Funny how these things go, guys. It really is. Yep, yep, yep. But yeah, it is great news. I saw the interviews, good stuff. It really is. He's a guy, a young man that's got a great head on his shoulders, and he does have some political background as a young man. He took part in Young Americans for Liberty. Look at them; it's a great organization. Again, they taken in young folks and round them out real well. I'd rather smash my teeth out than listen to you. Such a nice guy. Hey, we give him enough rope to hang themselves, but we all knew what he was from the beginning, don't we? Go smash your teeth out with all those AKs, man. Your 200 AKs. Yeah, the 50 BMG AK, awesome. Hey, he did it. He brought it to fruition. Everybody said he'd never do it, and for the most part, I mean, there's some differences, but he brought it he kept it mostly AK, just because of the pressures that we're talking about. Some things had to be different, but for the most part, he kept it as AK as he could. So impressive, and it's ready to go. It works, and just the money he put into that project, incredible. And why? Does it make any sense? Is he ever going to sell any rifles? I don't know, but it's cool to watch. It's cool to watch him work through the problems he saw, um, and overcome them. But that's what makes someone like him great. It's why some people do well, and some people make something of their lives, and then there's people that you know got nothing better to do with their time than troll a YouTube channel or something like that. So as we say, bye bye. We just got rid of the troll. The cool thing is he thinks that we can see him, but he can't, or we can't. He's gone. Anyhow, if I didn't say that, he wouldn't have a clue, but hey, what the hell? He is a solid guy. Anyhow, guys, we've been going forever, but I wanted to talk about Brandon, and then of course we've got to comment on what you guys want to talk about. That me thinking about that Hungarian AK that I haven't brought you yet. I really want to shoot that gun and want to bring it to you. It's such a clean, nice example. I ran into an AMD. I think I told you guys at a gun show a few weekends ago, and it was really nice. But I don't know enough about them. I know there were different ways they came in, different stuff. I wanted to make sure it was the right one, but it actually had some of that blue furniture on it. Don't know if it came in that way or if he had added it, but I got the guy's number. I'm going to have to give him a buzz. I got to do a little more research. Never really wanted one because it was kind of out there. But when you get to that point where you want something different and you got a lot of examples of whatever, it's one of those that you now go, that'd be cool. We'll check it out. And since we've got the one Hungarian, we might as well, delve in a little deeper. So I do have those other underfolder videos ready to go. But I told you I lost our hard drive. Supposedly it's all on the hard drive, but the computer will not recognize it, and I don't know if there's a way to do it. So I've got to order up some gear, a hard drive and a microphone, and get that done and get you these videos out. And it is warming up. It's not going to be in the 70s like it was, but we're in the 50s. And for early March, that's great. After coming off a week or two of in the 70s, it allowed our carpenters to really go to town. The whole place is framed up, sheathed. The sheathing on the roof is on. Roofers are coming. Plumbers are coming next week. And get all that roughed in. And then it's on to HVAC and electrical. And after that, I think it's drywall. I don't know. But it's really taking shape. It's really cool. I'm liking it. With spring brings a whole new bunch of challenges. You look at this bare slate of mud and rock and farm fields, and the farmers are going to be out planting our fields here pretty soon. And it's almost, what's the term I'm looking for? It almost makes you just lock up, like, so much to do, what to do first, so you just freeze. And I can't allow that to happen. He's back. What a joke. Anyhow, yeah. So we're going to bring you all that good stuff. Bring you a video on the tractor. We just bought a cheapy beater because, new tractors are 30, 40 grand. Just can't do it. So we bought a inexpensive used 07 600 hours TYN, a South Korean tractor. Really good tractors. This thing's heavy duty, a lot of cast iron, a lot of steel, but it spent its life outside. But we got a box blade for it, and a loader, of course, and bucket, and should be able to take care of the driveway with it, do the things we need, level some spots for the chicken coop and other stuff, start working on leveling the area for the barn, get all that stuff done. So I got plenty to do. Got to get this road draining right at the bottom. So it had just dried out. It was just dry enough for me to get the tractor in there without sinking it up to the headlights like I did last time. And start, grading it down to where everything will go off, and getting ready to seed grass in there and plant trees and everything. And then we got 2 inches of rain in a few hours, so it screwed it all up. But it'll dry out again, and we'll get to it. And we'll bring you some videos of it. Spent the last few weeks fixing the joystick for the loader and some of the valves. And now I've got some of the 3-point hitching stuff, instead of pins, they had bolts, and where it'll just end up hollowing out the holes, very similar to AK problems, right? So I don't know a ton about this, so I've been piecing together the different pins and whatnot, and now I've got to figure out the stabilizers for the lower lift arms. Those are a little wonky, so we're going to get those straightened out, and that way the box blade's not doing all kinds of craziness. Maybe get some more stone brought in. At least get the drive done where it's not all mud and crap. And then, got to run some electrical line through a pipe I put under the drive to get over to the barn area, get some temporary electric over there so I can get the motorhome out of the way. We brought it in, and I parked next to the temporary electric right in the middle of the back of the road, but I'm blocking to where you can pull in and go to the bigger area and turn around. Right now, you got to turn around into the mud. But I had to be that close because of electrical. So we're going to run that over, and then I'll be able to get the motorhome out of the way. That'll open things up, start leveling some of the stuff around the house, and just essentially cleaning up a bit. Got to get a mailbox in, a bunch of stuff, and before you know it, things will be done, and I can start working on the range. Good news is I got a ton of scrap lumber, literally a ton. You have no idea how much lumber came for this house. And it seems to me like they waste so much. There's so much cutoffs and stuff. I don't know. I've never seen 2x12s this big, 30 footers, maybe more for the roof. I mean, crazy. I can only imagine what these things cost me, pricing them one by one. I know what a 2x12 10-footer costs. I can't even imagine how much these things are, because that stuff's probably hard to come by these days. I don't know. Anyhow, we got tons of scrap wood, so I'm going to use a lot of it to build shooting benches and all kinds of good stuff. So we'll be bringing you that. Any ideas or on design for shooting benches, if you've seen anything cool at a local range or a buddy's house or something, let's talk about it in the next live stream, or shoot me an email. But we'll build some. That's the other thing, getting tools here, everything. It'll be nice to get now that the garages are closed up, I can, once we get the slabs done in there, then I can get some tools here at least, and that kind of thing. So it's all coming together. Fingers crossed, nothing major slows us down, and we're good to go in, let's see, basically we got all of March, April, May, 3.5 months, 4 maybe. I'm betting 4. Maybe it'll be July. I don't know. But by the end of this week, all the framing will be done. And then it's just roof, shingles, I mean, and onto the plumbing. So maybe you guys know better than I do. You could tell me what kind of time frame you've looked at on your stuff in the past. But anyhow, guys, thanks for coming. I've put you all to sleep, bored you to death. But a lot to talk about. We didn't do it last week, so here it was. So thanks for coming. Make sure you like before you leave. If you can do the super chat, that would be wonderful. Make sure to go donate to Brandon Herrera for Congress.com. Let's see him get in. How cool will that be? AK Jesus, baby. Let's roll. Thanks again. Have a great night. As always, Rockford Ordnance out.